Hello and welcome to Tales from Temple of Tankard. I am Jim, aka Argentwind, the Dungeon Master for Avress the Shattered World. Got a little bit of a new look today, but same party, same campaign, continue where we left off here. We were dark last week, so we'll have a little bit of a recap to see what happened. Mostly just a lot of fact finding and information gathering and a bit of shopping, but we'll kind of go over a little bit of that as we move along here. But first, I want to give everyone, since they're in new places on the screen, give everyone a chance to say who they are and get everyone figure out where everyone is. So we'll start right below me on the screen there with Eldon.
Hey, I am Eldon Mernig. I am the crazy gnome artificer, wizard, who is in the process of building a bunch of awesome little mechanical machines and weapons.
Aaron.
Next,
Aaron.
Aaron.
Trevor,
You.
you're
Can't hear you.
muted.
I was on the right of him, so I didn't even know that I was next. I was like, why am I not going first? Okay, sorry. Trevor here, aka Trevor Blackcoat. He makes the stuff and I get to use it more often than not, and now I'm making it on my own, and I am really, really cool, and I love it. Not my best intro. Anyway, next.
Hello, I'm Bernie, and I'm Amethyst. She is our tabaxi sorceress, and we've just lost someone.
Oh no.
It's okay. It's Natalie. Or no, it's Nancy.
Move back.
Yeah.
You go next, Rob.
Our cameras are a little bit out of whack there. We'll be back in just a second here. But we'll go ahead and move on here. There we go.
There it is.
Was that just me or was it everybody?
That
It
was
just
you.
you.
Just you.
Okay, I'm Rob. I play half elf bard, named Lucas.
Excellent. And last but not least,
Hi, I'm Nance. I play Sora the Paladin Dragonborn.
excellent. All right. So the group had made their way to Port Oris, the large city nearby their new home, which has now been renamed as Raven's Crest. They arrived there, did a little bit of setting up and talking to some people that they knew there, and secured their rooms. And then the following day, they spent a little bit of time meeting a new craftsman, one Bulk Dreadsarn, dwarf forge master at the Dreadwork Forge, looking to get something made out of the adamantium chains that they found in the base of Invarnek's tower that were securing the Slod that was imprisoned there. In addition to that, they met up with Nils, the artificer there, and had some items recrafted and switched around, and some new things added. Met with Lindra at the Mystic Menagerie, again to pick up some new items and find out a little bit more information. And then other than that, they actually did a bit of fact finding. Specifically, Eldon from the Forge Master there learned a bit about runesmithing and the location of a potential master runesmith, a tomb that could be someplace they could go to in the future. Trevor found out a little more information about his brother, his missing brother, he's been on the hunt for, who seems to have done some pretty allegedly terrible things. So the hunt is on for there. And to make matters more interesting, he was actually seen at the Mystic Menagerie 10 days ago. So very recently, he was in the area. Unfortunately, he did purchase an amulet of non-detection, so tracking him down is going to be a little more tricky because there's going to be no scrying or anything else for the guy. Amethyst found out a little bit more about the origin of her the origin of her background here, specifically Shattered Souls, tracing it back to a fiendish creature named Trexiarch, wielding a blade known as Soul Render, which seems to be what destroyed the soul of Noel Gervon, making the fragments that eventually formed into her and her associates, her other companions, specifically Elia and the others. Also found that Addie, the druid that Ellie studies under, her friends that were also fragments of a shattered soul as well, had a similar encounter with one of their origin had a similar encounter with the same fiendish, with the same pit fiend. So a lot of information, a lot of things they found out there, and we're gonna kind of pick up from there. The last thing that they discussed was meeting with Voldo of the Crimson Hunt. That the deal had been made, a contract had been discussed, and based on your acceptance, would be finalized to go after the village of Roanoke, where the Trollings are associated, with the use of one of their airships and a crew of people to get you there and to destinations other than that after you're done. The contract there being your portion of it being 3,000 gold, and after a bit of discussion of what that included, as far as I'm aware, everyone finally agreed that would be acceptable. So we kind of pick up from there. It is the next day. They said they're going to they need 3 days to secure provisions, gather the people, finalize the deal, and everything else, and get everything that's needed. So you have a couple of days before you're taking off for that. So you are in Port Oris. Group, what are you up to?
Well, for the next couple of days, I would like to go and try and do some research, and I'll pay the 20 gold to search up more stuff on that tomb of the ancient runesmith. See if there's anything in the library that can give any details.
Well, it's not too hard to find. He's a fairly famous figure, although it's a little uncertain as to exactly how old it. The runesmith is known as Ambrose Call. His name seems to pop up in a few different places, but it almost seems like it predates a lot of the formation of Coppervale as a full-fledged kingdom. So quite a long time ago. It's said you found a confirmation that yes, this tomb was located somewhere on the border between what is now Gervon and Coppervale. Actually, not too far from where you actually grew up. Gem Hollow being about maybe 50 to 100 miles further down the stretch of mountains separating the two countries. So you do find a bit more about that. There's a various accounts of what the runes he created could do, but you sort of like, some of them you're like, oh, there's no way, or that sounds really great, or you can kind of pick and choose what might sound plausible and what's going to be too far-fetched. So yeah, that doesn't take you too long, at least. I mean, you can knowing what you're looking for, and you'll find that there's other people that have kind of built off of his works, and some other more modern runesmithing there kind of comes from sort of his initial findings and such.
Okay, awesome. And then the last thing, I would just be poking around that blacksmith's place.
Sure.
I know he said, don't look over my shoulder.
Yeah.
But I'm, looking over my shoulder. A little bit. And so, I mean, he's not like, what you find is that he ends up being a lot more absorbed in his work. And so he doesn't really notice you're there most of the time, as long as you stay far enough out of the way. If you ever get too close, I mean, you know yourself there in terms of doing work. Oh, yeah.
If someone gets in your way, you're going to be in trouble. So
yeah, very much in trouble.
Yeah. So exactly. So a little extra time there, being able to see him at work there. He does seem to have some difficulty off and on. You're not really sure what the issue is, but you hear him grumbling a lot, but you don't know if it's just a part of his process or not.
Sweet.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Who else we have? What else we got going on?
I would just be following him in the leaves and like asking around and stuff like that with connections to find a better grasp on where he is. Like I know where we're headed, but eventually, but yeah. But I also know we're waiting. So
yeah, I mean, asking around, checking around. Go ahead and let's see, what's our best skill for that one? Give me an investigation check.
yeah, of course you pick investigation.
Of course I do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the one that makes the most sense. So yeah. Okay, just that first one, I guess. Jesus.
Wow.
So yeah.
None of them really great. So even with the triple advantage, it wouldn't work out so well.
Well, like I said, I didn't mean to roll those, but I would very, very much like to use my inspiration to re-roll that investigation check.
Sure. Go for it.
I just don't like that at all. Assuming I can still re-roll, because I did roll 3 times on accident. So
I mean, none of those really count.
This one would be 21. There you go.
That's intimidation.
Yeah. Fuck off. Okay, hold on. Sorry. I hit the wrong one.
That's deception and history.
What is going on? Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm going to reset real quick.
Let's just say this. I'm going to look at some of these rolls here and see what ones. Okay. I think. Well, let's just put it this way. You spent an entire day.
It's
basically asking around, finding facts, lying to people, intimidating people for information, kind of being a general nuisance around town a bit.
Of course.
And with some other folks here, kind of. And you will find out a bit that some people have seen someone that looks generally like you, a small man in a black coat, moving around town. And although any accounts are at least a week old, probably longer. So it corresponds pretty much with 10 days or so. They think he moved on and left, as far as you can tell.
Gotcha.
He's no longer. You're fairly certain after spending some time there, he's not in town any longer.
Ignore this one. I'm just fixing my stuff. I reloaded. There it goes. It's back. I was literally hitting investigation for at least 2 of those, by the way, and it wouldn't. It
was kind of going everywhere. So all right. So yeah, the between the Rangers, the guard, the Port Oris Authority, checking in with some of the gate folks there. Eventually, you will track down that yes, it seems that they can confirm that yes, he was seen a week to 2 weeks ago somewhere in there, but he's been gone for at least a week.
Gotcha.
There's been. Do you actually specify what you're looking for him for?
Not necessarily. Just the fact that I need to find him. The only time I've ever said anything was like out loud that he did something bad, but I was talking to you each time.
Okay. I mean, you mentioned it the group there, but you haven't mentioned. You're not like telling the Rangers or authority.
No, I told the Rangers. No, because I went to the Ranger and specifically told him that he did do some bad things.
Okay.
I actually talked to him about it, so he definitely knows. But anyone else, I probably would have said anything.
Okay. All right. Okay, Sora. You had some concerns. I know you spent a little time out in front of the Temple of Light at one point there. Kind of had a bit of a soul-searching moment there. Is there anything follow up with that?
No, she's just going to continue to do her prayers and what she's supposed to do. I believe she will just follow whoever else is around. She knows exactly where Eldon's going, so she'll probably leave Eldon alone, but maybe help Trevor with something or whatever he's doing, or Lucas, whatever he's doing.
And at some point, let's say, so that we'll call it day 1 of your 3-day little wait there. Eldon's spending some time in the library at the Forge. Trevor's been moving around the city. Sora, you have something you want to give over dinner time or whatever?
Yeah. At dinner time, I have something that I would like to give to Trevor.
Okay.
I give you. It's a box. It's been wrapped in pretty blue wrapping paper with a blue tie and gold trim.
I'll hold out my hand. How big is it?
It's about yay big.
Hold on, I wasn't looking at
Yeah.
you. And
So about maybe a foot by 2 feet by a foot or so.
okay, so roughly half my size. Okay.
And if you check your inventory, you might see it there now.
Nice. You're a sneaky DM.
I don't know what's going on.
Let me pop off your character so I'm not actually
So
in your
you,
character.
you may have to refresh your character sheet.
I did when I was messing up on the rolls and stuff.
Yeah, so try it again there. So I just added something new to your inventory.
Okay.
So when you open the box, you find a set of sturdy-looking boots.
Oh no fucking way! I know
Yeah.
what these are, but I
Yep,
didn't.
with
But
yes,
boots
with
of trading. I know
with,
boots of striding. Oh, I'm checking this out. I'm clicking. Yeah.
Yep.
No.
so boots of striding and springing. So essentially, they can give you a little bit better, a little more jump, a little more
Hey,
speed.
5 feet's 5 feet,
Nice.
man.
Yep.
I can jump 3 times. And plus I can use my. I love.
Yep.
This. I'll
So,
look
yeah,
over.
so-
Yeah. I'll look over and I will literally jump as far as I can to kiss her on her forehead at that point because I would be really, really grateful over that.
Which is
Not literally
much,
because
much
that's not
farther.
really his MO, but he's very, very grateful.
And it's
You're very
messing press your belly button instead.
You literally see me
Oh,
jumping around, by the way. And you literally
Like-
see me
like-
jumping up on people's like shoulders and like jumping up on wherever I am, trying to like test these things out. By the way,
Yeah, so you're able to make a lot larger leaps in general. You're moving a little bit faster than you were before. So yeah, definitely something right up your alleyway.
I don't have to make them anymore because that was going to be the next project I started working on eventually. But I don't know if I could even make those honestly without putting literal springs on them.
So you do kind of check the like, are do you think those springs in those? They are not Manatech. They actually are enchanted. They actually
Nice.
they do have a lot of give to them. They are very flexible. Once you actually put them on and attune to them, because they do require attunement, I believe, they actually will mold to your feet exactly, and they are extremely comfortable. And again, are able to give you a little speed and jumping boost.
All right.
Let's see, Lucas, what are you up to there? Anything?
As a minor thing, I want to sell my old stupid leather. I don't want to carry it around
Oh,
with
sure.
me.
That's not hard to do. I mean, essentially, Alinda will take it off your hands for a few gold or whatever, and you can easily, essentially, things like that are stuff that can be modified down the road, and so it's easy enough to unload that. You also do realize, in talking with her off and on at the time there, and over dinner, she did mention the fact that she's having some issues with the syndicate. Not because they're causing any problems, but because Brecken, her former boss, had essentially made a couple of different contracts with them and was in the process of either reneging on them or not fulfilling them at all. And so even though she was able to find most of the goods that were agreed upon, and so she's just been frustrated with having to deal with all of that. And so anything that's that kind of armor that would be something that would be in demand by roguelike types, it definitely is something that she doesn't mind having some extra of. So
Yeah.
you will see on the World Anvil, you will see that now there is an image. I believe you go to the Mystic Menagerie entry. You will see a full shop inventory. It's not a full shop inventory. It's just some odds and ends that are in there. There are some enchanted items. There are some spell components. There are a couple of potions, and a bunch of weird little baubles and stuff like that. If there's anything that pops up in there that you're interested in at some point, we can kind of retcon and say, "Hey, I want that." And if you have the money for it, of course.
I like bubbles.
Yes, there are a bunch of weird little ones. In fact, there's a couple that might actually be of interest if you do check them out at some point there.
You said it's in the World Anvil?
Yes, on the World Anvil under the Mystic Menagerie entry.
Yes.
So campaign, important locations, Port Oris, Mystic Menagerie. There should be an image you can click on and over on the side. There are a bunch of weird little items there. The trinkets on the left and the items on the right.
Gotta open it up. That's in the chat right on Discord. I can copy it or just open up World Anvil.
I think so, yeah.
Is there any others that haven't got dark vision?
I believe 2 of you do not. Or 1.
I have dancing lights to be able to give me what I need.
I think it's Trevor and Sora are the 2 that don't have dark vision. But I have my headlamp. Sora has dancing lights.
Because I noticed there's a belted dwarven kind on there.
Yeah. Oh.
If you dark vision, amongst other things.
Nice.
Yeah, there are a few interesting little items in there. And so if there's something that you can't quite afford at this time, you can always ask to have it set aside until the time when you can. There's always that option as well.
I was learning Sylvan. Would it be
Hmm?
better to go to the Lyceum? Would I get more learning done, for want of a better word?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you're able to spend some time there and just sort of look into books that are written in Sylvan and kind of pick up little bits and pieces there. Again, with the Lyceums, where that accelerated learning that takes place in the main library there, you can definitely get a lot more language practice in there as you wish. And if there's anything else you wanted to look up or look into, that's an option as well.
I asked about the book copying.
Which
Yeah,
one was that?
She mentioned that they've been sold some books that have been copied from
Yeah.
the Lyceum.
While you spend some time there, while you're there, you don't see the same person you saw before. They don't see them make an appearance in there. They were fairly distinctive looking. So they were kind of a short, maybe gnomish type person, but they were very thin and a little bit taller than a gnome normally would be. Reddish hair, a little neat red beard, and was obviously tipping books into a bag of holding. And you'd report it, but according to the librarian, they had credentials, or they had the right things to be able to borrow books.
Keep an eye out while I'm there, just to see if I see anything unusual.
Nothing really catches your eye in terms of any oddball characters or anything else like that. At least a couple other people that are there looking into various topics or anything. Nothing that seems to catch your eye or make you think there's anything sinister going on, at least.
One thing I was going to do is I will. Sorry. I'll use the drum to remember a certain night when my master disappeared
Mm-hmm.
with more clarity to see if I can
Okay.
get more information.
Okay. Give me what's the best check for this one here? Give me a general wisdom check. Or intelligence, either one. Okay. The memory comes back very, very clearly, and reliving that scene that what happened definitely shakes you. I mean, all the memories of what you saw and felt were all there. You don't pick up anything that's like that you may have missed before specifically. You're kind of like it's almost like watching a movie, a replay of that memory. You're able to kind of see the sequence of events. You're able to recall what he did and said, and sort of what you do know. I will say this: since you're obviously quite a few levels beyond there, your Arcana has grown a bit there. You do pick up the fact that he really didn't safeguard himself. Like you saw in Varnak, the summoning circles, the tracing, the wards being put up and all of that. He didn't do any of that. Like he didn't set out a protective circle. He just opened the book and started reading, and then bad things started to happen almost immediately. And so it's like you wonder like why was he like thinking back to it now with the knowledge you've gained, he really didn't take precautions for something. So you wonder almost. Actually, give me one more insight check. That'll be an interesting one. Okay, so one thing that looking back at the memory now, because you're almost like clinically looking at it and kind of piecing it together and seeing, okay, what's going on here? You see, at some point, you see the look on his face. Like there is, at some point, there's almost a blank trance look that comes over his face. He's speaking and saying words, and some of the words he's saying you still don't recognize. Some of the words he was speaking, you don't know what he was saying exactly. It almost sounds like gibberish as far as you can tell. But what you do see is that in that memory, much clearer now, at some point while he's speaking, the expression drops off his face, and it's almost he goes into a trance as he goes to open the book. And then all hell breaks loose. So as if something came over his mind. You've seen enough enthralling. You've done enough hypnotic and enthralling and charming and holding that something came over him and his will became not his own. So something definitely that you missed the first time.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Amethyst, anything else you wanted to look into or people you wanted to check in with or?
I can't think. Did I go? I went to the Lyceum, didn't I?
You did. That's where you did find out the name of the pit fiend and the weapon he carries.
Right,
you did
yeah.
find out that much information there.
Yeah.
You didn't find anything specifically on Shattered Souls or anything else. However, there were at least a couple other accounts, let's just say, of people who died and couldn't be brought back.
Right. Okay.
Typically historical figures or things of that nature, and they all sort of stretch back to a time around that war or some sort of sinister dealings of some kind, or I mean, you don't get any specific accounts, but of situations where someone of prominence was killed, and someone that would be important enough to spend the resources or try to bring them back, and failed. Now, it may be related, it might not. Resurrection and revivification is not always 100%, but when measures are taken and they fail, it tends to get recorded. And so you do find a couple of instances out there of things that happened there.
Quite interesting to find out, though, that obviously the person whose soul was shattered, whose soul is now in Alia and I and the rest of our group, that happened a long, long time ago, way before we were born.
To go. Yeah.
So were those souls just sort of hovering around? Were they in somebody else? It's, you know, that makes me wonder.
Arcana check. You will find you. It's funny you avoid these books because they start talking about religion and gods, and like we know how you
Ugh.
feel about the imaginary stuff. However, one thing that cross references there is that you do get a bit of information relating to death and souls and what happens and what people know, what people don't know, what people theorize. And so that kind of that shattered soul aspect there does take you back into a tome regarding Shadowfell. Shadowfell is the realm of death. It's where most souls will go. And speaking of the Raven Queen and the Fell Lords and these other things of like um, the Raven Queen, the mausoleum, where souls that are taken to a place of rest, and that eventually sometimes they are let released to be reborn in the world. And so the idea of fragments of souls, the what you find in there, within 20 to 21 there, you find there is that fragments of souls have nowhere to go. A soul is drawn in there. A person is almost like consciousness attached to that. And they're taken into a place to rest and be at peace for a time. But fragments would have nowhere to go, so they just sort of float. And so the idea of a broken soul or something that's not complete or a trapped soul will never reach that. So there's nothing that would essentially, they come in, they rest for a time, they are released back out to be reborn. But a shattered soul would have no way of doing that.
Well, it must have, because it did.
Well, eventually, yes. And so this is where the books are a little bit less clear, because there's no real account of specifically shattered souls that you could find. There's no like tomes talking about them specifically. So something at some point, obviously it's happened at least twice that you're aware of, where
Yeah. And I'm sure it's happened more, because that's too much of a coincidence that one
Yep.
member of a group is actually working under another member of another group.
Mhm.
It's just, and for us to have all stumbled across each other in the ways that we have. Like, I met members of Addie's group before I even met Addie.
This is true.
And the way that, I stumbled across Elia, we stumbled across Gildor. It's all, I just think it's far too much of a coincidence. There must be more. Otherwise, then, that's crazy. I might start believing in the powers that be.
I mean, one thing that the Raven Queen, Weejas, that whole pantheon there, they are also, you do catch that they are associated with fate. With like the idea that coincidences may not be coincidences, they're fated to be. And there are connections that you cannot see, things that are intertwined in ways that we cannot tell. So let's see. At least 3 of you are going to be at the Lyceum there. Lucas, you're the one there. As you are there, let me just make sure I have. Let me pull that up real fast. There we go. So Alma Degora, she's the head librarian there, the elderly gnomish woman. And Lucas, you are Well, someone was wanting to speak with you. Would you have time? Be willing to do so?
Yes, of course.
All right. Um, please. Let's see. One moment. And she kind of waves to someone, and you see someone, a nondescript, kind of a human, maybe some elvish blood in them, standing off to the side there. It's sort of nondescript, like a page uniform almost. A little bit of like CM emblem on the cuff of one side there. Just standing there waiting. And this one will take you to go and speak with someone who wishes to, I guess, find out some more information as such. It'll be Professor Martinet.
All right.
And I would say that at this point, Amethyst and Eldon, you probably are both in the room, other places there. You probably would both at least take note of the fact that someone's calling Lucas over there. And you can choose either to stay behind or follow along if you want.
I'll follow along as I'm like taking the book with me that I'm currently reading.
Sure, yeah.
I'd look for any reason.
Wants us to go with him.
Yeah.
I can say I'd be looking for any reason to run around right now, so I'd
Do
go.
you want us to go with you? If you want.
Sure.
I mean, and Alon's like, "Oh, I'm sure that's fine." And the page is just waiting there and just nods as two more approach. Figure Trevor and Sora are out out in the town at this point here, so we'll have a split here in just a moment. So the three of you go with the page there back into the large runic elevator, a transport chamber essentially. There is again no movement. There's no vertical or movement of any kind. You step in, there's a flash of light, and the door opens, and there's a different floor that you're on. You're not sure what floor it is exactly, but you do see sort of rich carpeting and dark wood and strange arcane lighting down a hallway. And the page just sort of, this way, please, and walks you down toward a really rich wood paneling and a broad doorway with a little bronze placard on it saying Professor Martinet. She opens the door. Professor Lucas and associates here to speak with you. And you step in, and you see before you, on the way, you do kind of piece it together. Oh, this is Lucas. You know, this is the person that Alindra studies under, specifically, and you've already heard that. Yes, this is Nils' wife.
Mrs. Nils.
Mm-hmm. You step in, and you see before you a woman dressed in kind of wizard robes, kind of thing like that, just kind of kind of a grayish blue color, a wide collar with a kind of a bronze metallic look to it. She does have, she is kind of a silvery gray hair, but somewhat ageless features. You do know from talking that she's got to be in her 70s at this point, but she looks like she's maybe in her 40s at least, other than the fact that her hair is mostly kind of a whitish gray, silvery gray. And thank you for coming to see me. I appreciate it. Lucas, is it? And your associates, Eldon and Amethyst, is that correct?
Yes.
Correct, yes.
Excellent. I understand you're out and a bit of adventuring types. And my husband spoke of you, and my son as well, and Alindra all speak very highly of you. I don't know. Alindra mentioned that an issue we've had in the library, in the Lyceum here, specifically in the library. And at some point, we are still gathering information, trying to find out what's going on with this forgery expert that's doing whatever they're doing. But at some point in the future, I would wonder if you would be able to help us. there's been a matter of concern. Alindra brought it up, especially, and where my associates and I, my other professors and I, are speaking of it as well. There is a concern that we do have volumes, information of a more sensitive nature. And obviously, not so much in the libraries that the general public and students and basic students and such would have access to, where you recently were. But we do have other libraries in more restricted areas that have nothing outright dangerous, but information that could be problematic if it falls into the wrong hands. So we're looking really potentially to find out who this forger is and convince them to stop their operations. We're not looking for anything overly dramatic or deadly or anything like that, but this person's obviously um, potentially a student. It's hard to find out exactly. We believe they're using forged credentials as well. Is this something that you eventually that you would be able to look into at some point?
Certainly, we would look into it.
Yes, that would be something very interesting to look into. Would we, perchance, if we do this, be allowed to look at some of those restricted books? Possibly.
I'm potentially. I'm not saying that we just let anyone who's not a student or in a faculty, or a higher level student or faculty in some of those areas, and typically they're just for research purposes and such. They're not they're not normally loaned out.
Um, our troop of individuals is, how to say this, involved in lots of different research on several different topics that we have been dealing with lately, um, mainly concerning things like slod and mutated creatures. I mean, there is lots of different research that we are all looking into, and uh, having more information would be better.
Of course, I mean, information is the key to everything, really. So I would say that I could essentially put in a good word and potentially allow some temporary access to certain things, or at least help with a research specialist that might be able to point you in the right direction for certain things. There's obviously we have students who specialize in arcane theory and history and applications and such. So obviously there would be potential for collaboration and or uh, teamwork and such. So absolutely, I mean, this is one of those things that finding out this kind of information, stopping a potential issue before it becomes more problematic, that would be very, very appreciative.
Yes. Amethyst, what is the phrase you scratch my back, I scratch your back? I believe is the phrase. Yes.
Definitely, but my claws are a lot longer than yours, so you might have to find some sort of implement to scratch my back with.
I can float now, so I can get up to your back.
Awesome. That's good to know.
Um, well, if there's ever information or if anything comes up there, if you do find anything out there can deal with this, we'd appreciate it. And if there's anything that becomes of a more emergency type of nature, if we find that a book, um, as Alinder put it there, a book of questionable nature falling into the wrong hands, um, we would essentially kind of accelerate that timetable of the urgency of this.
Um, is there someone in particular that we need to speak with to start this little um, mm, uh, searching for who is messing with the library?
I think actually the people that know the most about the situation so far are Lucas himself and Lindra. They've as I understand it, Lucas has an eyewitness account of the individual that we think might be um, involved, and Alindra did have someone uh, attempt to sell a volume to the menagerie um, that was a forgery. So those are, I think, those are the probably uh, uh, the two most promising leads, at least. Also, Alma, the head librarian down there, she may be able to point, at least in terms of figuring out what books might be still outstanding and such. That might be helpful in some way. Um, I don't know that. I mean, books can be checked out at various times. I mean, I see you're holding one right there. Um, but obviously, if someone has the ability to check things out, she would be the person to know what's out of the library at this point. Any other questions? I mean, it's been nice speaking with you. Um, there's been a lot, seems a lot going on in the region now.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, there are many signs do point toward darkness. It is there is something lurking out there. And I mean, and as she says that, you sort of like see her glancing down at divination implements on her desk. And at this point, you do see that there are there are a lot of, she is a divination expert. And so there are many sorts of divining type devices and things set up around her space in here. There seems to be something lurking out there, and I think that it's more than just the slod that you dealt with. There's still something out there.
What do you reckon it is?
Oh, Trevor's not there.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
Sorry.
No worries. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
No,
here's to hoping that we can be there to stand in the gap and stop the whatever you are talking about before it causes collateral damage. Yes.
Exactly. Oh, exactly.
At least we'll know when it's coming, though.
I certainly hope so. There's
Oh,
I mean, darkness has a way of creeping into places you don't expect, and so I hope there's nothing out there that we're not really aware of.
can I show her my dagger? I
Sure.
love this dagger.
She does. She is surprised by it. I don't think he actually showed it to Nils, so it's like she's.
I will warn her beforehand that I'm going to take her weapon out. I definitely
yeah,
would have
and
shown
so-
it to Nils, though.
And the funny thing is that you hold out, and it's a block of wood, and so she kind of looks at it curiously there. And as you touch there, the wood splits. The wood splits open, and the dagger comes out there. The vines kind of unwrap and then rewrap as a crossguard. And that's a very interesting item there. I don't think I've ever seen its like before. I can definitely see a link to darkness, but it has been infused with something different. And obviously there's a connection with you that and you see her sort of like kind of the eyes glaze over a little bit as she's sort of looking there, and there's also a connection to this place. To someone from here.
From here?
Well, from Port Oris. A sense of history, a sense of connection it's different from, obviously, I mean, I know Tabaxi are not from this part of the continent, but that, even though I sense the connection between you, its connection is here. Strange. I don't know. I thank you for showing that to me. It's definitely something I never seen the like before.
I was trying to say it tells me when danger's approaching, so
Definitely a useful
cool.
thing. So, again, a light in the darkness, a voice of warning in times of uncertainty.
Hmm.
Oh, thank you.
Well,
So, Trevor and Sora, again, essentially, yes, you're able to gather information around the town there. Is there any specific places other than just like this, or any specific people you're looking for, things you want to check in with, any details you may have? Uh, at this point, yes, Trevor is kind of bouncing.
Yeah, I'd be. But I mean, by then I would be setting out to do what I did and talk to anyone of interest. Like if I didn't have,
Yeah.
I'd be following all my resources and stuff like that. So like if I knew of anyone of interest, I'd be talking to them.
Okay.
As far as anyone in particular, I don't know the names of everyone or anything, but yeah,
Okay.
definitely
Um,
information I could.
why don't you go ahead and give me a charisma check?
Me and charisma? Okay.
I mean, you're a paladin. You better have some.
Right.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have any.
It is the It is the primary
You
ability.
say that's your stat. I would hope so.
It's not letting me click on charisma. There it goes.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So essentially,
Natural one.
yeah, I would say this. You're really, you're almost like a storm cloud following Trevor around. Not so much that it's causing a problem for him or anything, but it's just sort of like you just find yourself like the information's coming in, it's nothing's really jiving, nothing's really connecting, and every time you go to like step in to help, kind of in either intimidating or persuading or anything else like that, the words just don't come to you. You feel yourself a little bit awkward throughout the day, as if not only that you're not really in your element, but there's something just not quite working correctly. Like you normally are able to talk to people out there. You've done business things. You've worked with mercenaries. You've worked with, you've had to intimidate bandits on the road and everything else. That this is the first time you've really been kind of tongue-tied, sort of uncertain of what to say or do, or even sometimes even how to stand. You find yourself kind of shuffling a little bit, uncomfortable. Like, what do I do with my hands? And it's just an odd feeling throughout the day.
I don't feel right, Trevor.
What do you reckon's wrong?
I don't know.
Yeah, there's definitely something wrong. You are definitely blue.
Wow.
split the party.
No.
We did split the party. I don't quite know, but I have an idea. We need to go hit the chapel real quick. Give me about an hour to pray.
Shouldn't we just go there instead? I don't know why you want to hit it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Pray to whatever God you believe in and let's get on the road. Am I just waiting around here for you?
I mean, you could come in and pray too if you want.
I would rather scrub vital parts of my anatomy off with a rusty Brillo pad than do that, but I do appreciate the offer regardless.
Yeah, just give me an hour and I'll be ready.
You can copy that, and I'm going to go jump around and have fun until you get back, but I'll be in the area. He's
Okay.
literally just practicing on these boots because he's never used them before.
Let me kind of, I didn't realize here, I should have had you guys over here. And so essentially, one thing, so Trevor, one of the issues you do find is that probably one of the best information you find about him coming and going is from, so this over on the west side of town there is the west gate. It's essentially at the base of this is the Port Oris Authority, actually where you brought the goblin that you captured. And so you find out probably the best information there, at least leads saying that they had spotted him They assume he was leaving the city in there. And so as you leave there and are heading back across the bridge, thinking what to do next there, this is Sora brings it up there so the Temple of Light being right here. And so what you will find, so Sora, we'll come to you in a second here, kind of bouncing around the area there, checking things out there, trying out the boots, everything. You do see this building in the back. You will occasionally, as you're walking there, just watching, doing your thing there, you will see some like cloaked, hooded figures kind of coming and going from this back area here. And at first you're like, oh, this is suspicious. These guys are weird. You remember from times past there that the Temple of Light is home of the Vault of Light. Specifically where they go and take items that are cursed, where they go and take items of dangerous things. The Doom Clock is there specifically. Melindra had mentioned that. And that there's basically something associated with here. And seeing them coming through, coming and go from the back of the building there, seeing these two figures, you start to kind of piece together, that must be what it's from.
I would, like, if I seen the figures, I'd probably try to get closer to investigate, but stay far enough away to like not make my presence known.
Give me a stealth check.
Could do on. I'll just literally get up on the rooftops at that point.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, so yeah, give me a stealth check to make sure you stay out of view. And
Yeah, now that you can jump that high.
yeah, you.
I thought I could use my grappling hook. It doesn't, from what he told me, doesn't make a lot of noise. So
no, it's kind of a little winding.
I don't know why it made me roll advantage, but
that's an advantage. It's just rolled twice. So
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you're able to get up there. You kind of like hop up in the place there and slide into view there, and kind of watching them walking around there, and you see them just kind of they walk out of the building, kind of back around this larger building over here, which is sort of a training yard by the look of it there, where they have a number of different people working sword and shield drills and stuff like that. You realize this is actually probably either a guard house or some sort of a military training place for the most part there. But you're able to see them sort of walk around behind along these kind of houses there, kind of hugging this little fence line, and they're just sort of walking, not like trying to be suspicious, but just sort of like walking with a purpose away from the building that's here. You do spot a little sort of entrance that goes down what looks to be into maybe underground space, almost like a catacombs or something like that. That would be underneath this structure in the back, sort of almost like a basement door heading down where they came out of.
We're all telepathically linked. How close are we to that?
We are telepathically linked? I don't take.
Nope.
No, wait. I have to be 30. Yeah, no, never mind.
Yeah,
it was her. No, never mind. No.
Yeah, it's only line of sight for you to be able to see.
No.
Yeah.
So no, I would obviously mark that as a point of interest for us to go, but I wouldn't follow right now.
Okay.
But
sure.
just kind of make a mental note and tell the party when I get back. That's the first thing I would tell them.
Sure, of course. Sora, so inside, you will see a figure in sort of obviously priestly-like robes there, white, very, very clean, a bit when there was a sun emblem on the one side there, indicating either a priest of Foltus or Palor, one of the two, maybe both. And you do recognize this person as the person that came out and talked to you the previous 2 nights ago when you first arrived and you were standing outside there.
Yeah.
And you see him approach and, child of Bahamut. It's good to see you. What brings you to the temple today?
I'm all out of sorts. I gotta do some praying.
Of course. Is there anything that troubles you specifically, or just need time in quiet contemplation?
Yes to both. I think. I don't feel like myself. Like normally I can talk to people and She gets very like tongue-tied, kind of starts to feel like Eldon when he's talking too much, and then just kind of walks into the temple and finds a seat.
So into the main temple area there. Again, there's sort of there isn't like a specific, again, the Temple of Light is not specific iconography of one deity. It's sort of deities of light and goodness. And so there's this sort of a generic, sort of a sun-looking emblem above there, and a lot of bright colors. Bright white marble and such. Very quiet, very peaceful, but definitely a place that's not like shadowy and dark at all. All the corners are well lit. There's braziers with flickering flames everywhere, and sort of a general warm ambience to the whole place. And you're able to take a seat in one of the areas there. You don't seem. It's not really like a chapel. Like you're not like this isn't a place people deliver sermons. It's more of a place for people to sit and watch things there, and then potentially to have conversations with people there. And so he stands a little bit off to the side, and not to intrude initially, but he would as you settle yourself in there, he stops and, is there something that has occurred to make you doubt or be anxious of what would normally you'd be comfortable with?
There was this person who angered me to a point of me taking my aggression out on her, even though she was bound and unable to see.
I see. Was this a matter of only vengeance, or was there a matter of justice here as well? Did she do wrong?
She has killed lots of people, and
Ah,
then specifically killed one of my retainers. Thankfully, they were able to bring him back, but I didn't know that at the time.
understandable then. So there is no specific evil in finding someone for one being punished for a crime, as we find that sometimes to balance the scales of light and dark has to be a light must be shined in the dark to reveal what must be done. And so you should not feel shame for doing what you have to do. It is a choice we all must make, and the fact that the fact that it bothers you shows the goodness in you. One who has given themselves over to darkness would never feel this way, would never be out of sorts. They would revel in it. They would continue doing it and seeking it out. But here, you come to this place, you look for the light, you keep bringing the brightness wherever you go. You see the emblems, you see the iconography. Bahamut understands.
Yeah, I hope so.
And essentially, he will rest, be at peace, and do what must be done. One in your position will often be put to the test. And I have a feeling that you will be up to that test. And he steps off to the side there and kind of gives you some quiet space. The whole time he's speaking, and you feel that, you just feel this low rumble underneath you. Not like something sinister, but just sort of that low, distant thunder. Or potentially maybe the growl of a dragon of some kind. It's hard to tell which it is. And you just find yourself kind of settling into that as the piece of the area washes over you.
Now let's hope my rolls indicate that.
We shall see. So, at some point throughout the day here, again, with all the research and finding things out and looking into things and cats in front of cameras. Their cat. There you go. You're able to sort of settle in and at least get a little more information and finding things out there. Convene for the evening, and we have essentially a chance to determine next steps.
I would be meeting her back, assuming it's been close to an hour or no?
Roughly, yeah.
Talking, I would
Yeah.
be meeting my way back to her, obviously, at that point.
Sure.
I would say God said.
Sure.
And as I got there, I'd be like, so you've talked to did you reach out to your God, or did you mostly just talk to people there?
A little bit of both. I got some clarity.
I dated a clarity once. I'm just kidding. I never did. But I make levity of a bad situations. But what did you find out? Keep in mind, there's nothing you need to tell me now. If you choose not to, that's on you. We all have our secrets occasionally.
Yeah, no, it's more of a... I did what I had to do because she was a bad person. And the fact that I feel horrible about doing it makes me a good person.
Well, let me tell you this much. Whether you're a good person or a bad person, fact is, when I first met you, I did not trust you in one way, shape, or another. With all those secrets that you wanted to keep, I don't mean that disrespectfully. I just mean that's my first impression. But I've grown to trust you just every bit as much as the rest of this group, if not more, to some regard. Now, that being said, who you decide to kill, it doesn't make you a bad or good person. It's what you decide to do with those actions is what makes your character, in fact. So I say for now, we go meet up with the rest of the party and find out what they found out, and then you can inform them or not, and I've got some clues as where he may have went at least, but I say we get on this airship, depending on what the group says, and we do what needs to be done before we head off and deal with my brother Seb one way or another.
I really want to get on one of those airships.
I am so fucking looking forward to that, let me tell you. And I've been holding back.
Yeah, buddy.
Now, did you know, look at my new boots. Did you see how high I can, and I'll start going on a tangent about that and then just start running again. I'm like a kid who buys new shoes, like his mom buys him new shoes, and they ask how fast, let me see you running them, see how you feel, kind of thing. And then, yeah. Like whenever you got new shoes from like Payless and you decided to play dodgeball and you felt like you were better.
Like the pump up shoes made you feel like you could jump higher.
Pretty much, yeah. And so that's when I'd be me moving back to the party. Or to where I think they are anyway.
I think we're headed back to the inn as a gathering point.
Yeah.
Did you want to stop off at the ale house and get some drinks?
I am parched, but I have a flask with me now.
This is working.
Okay.
So I say we drink and go, and then we meet up with the party. Let's just put it this way: running and jumping, getting some exercise is nice. I love burning calories as much as the next guy, but I do want to really test our mettle, if you know what I mean.
Don't you want to go and see closer?
Right. So you're able to convene everyone there, kind of start sharing information, checking things out there. You will actually be at some point. I need to ask you this. Before all this part here, did you actually agree to the job with the Crimson Hunt, to Voldo?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we did.
Cool. So in that case, of course, today there, Voldo will actually have a message delivered to you all that at some point tomorrow, I'd love to meet up and sort of go over a plan, logistics, anything that you guys need specifically, and they would actually be able to. And the plan is to leave the day after that. They said that sort of a quick update is they are in the note in the little message specifies that they have got most of the provisions set aside for the trip. They're still working out the last of who's going to be the crew, how many people they're going to be able to have on board besides you, and essentially kind of go from there. So at some point tomorrow, they're looking to meet up and go over it with you.
Sweet. And I did make arrangements because by the time we grab the teleportation and the 3 golems and drop those off in Raven's Crest, then I should have my shield in that tube for my mortar.
Yeah, actually,
Waiting.
it'll probably be waiting for you when you get there because he said it'd be about a week or so, and so with the travel time involved here, it'll probably be if not there, then shortly after.
Yeah, definitely pick those up on the way to that little thing so I can figure out what's going on. That shield.
All right.
I'm excited.
Okay. So obviously information is shared and such. Is there anything you guys want to hold back or specifically state?
No,
Or we just add accent and repeat?
pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
On the road show.
Okay. So then, any last minute things that you're getting for yourselves or whatever, we can work out there. But if there's anything you want to, if you have any money left over you want to purchase from the menagerie,
Yes.
or
Can
I looked
have
at the
her
menagerie
set
real quick because just to see if there's anything else there. Only because, like you mentioned it, I did open up World Anvil, but I wasn't really seeing where you were talking about where the stuff was.
It's in the trinket / photo little thing side tab.
if you go to campaign, go to important locations.
Important locations. I was going
Yep.
up freaking.
And then into Port Oris, and down to Mystic Menagerie, which is the second to last entry under Port Oris. I have one more I need to add there.
Yeah, Bernie, I got the link. I'm on there now. Thank you.
Yep.
And on the right over here is
Click on that picture there. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff there.
love it.
I would have her set aside that wand of fireballs.
Sure.
I would like to attach that to a gauntlet. So yeah, that's definitely on my list.
Yeah, there's a couple of trinkets there. I think it might appeal to Amethyst. I know there's at least 2 that, and I'll tell you, this actually came from a random list. I literally compiled. There's a really cool guide I can link to you guys at some point there. Those of you who are fellow DMs. It's a really cool little guide where you can just generate random shops, and I just generated 3 random lists and then just kind of copied and pasted into a list, and made
fun.
this. Yeah.
The stool's a bit weird. Tiny wooden stool that gives splinters to those who hold it. Like, what?
I literally just seen that too.
Yep.
A couple things. I would definitely want some.
Yeah.
Definitely a needle that never bends. Would I know that asking about it? Like, because I can see that on there, but is it labeled a needle that never bends? Because if it's just a needle, I'm not going to buy it. But like,
it's one of the things, a lot of things would say a little what they were. It's not just a needle sitting on a counter. Like, what the heck is this? So there'll be a little tag there saying this will never bend, that kind of thing. So a lot of these little weird things.
I would like the puzzle piece.
Sure. Yeah. So any of those things you want to copy and paste or just put onto your character sheet as a random item you got in your inventory, just deduct the gold and deduct the amount of. Most of the trinkets, of course, are I definitely want 4 gold.
I 100% want the serpent venom. That's my big buy.
Sure. If you got
Jim,
if you have
there's 3 sending stones. Can you use all 3 of them? Can you use all 3 of them? Like.
So yes, essentially, what it is, a sending stone will let you cast sending once per day, and so basically you just can cast sending, having the stone there. What I will say is that these the stones. Actually, Eldon, you've seen this. Sending stones can sometimes be attuned to each other, where they can send back and forth. So individually, they can do sending once per day, or you can have stones that are linked, where they can send back and forth.
Yeah.
Pretty much indefinitely.
And yes, and they just talk to each other. So it's basically
it's like a walkie-talkie.
Yeah, it's
They usually come in pairs, though, don't they? But the fact that there's 3 has really thrown me.
Well, like I said, essentially, you can take any 2 sending stones and attune them to each other. Then you take 2 and like touch them to each other, and they become linked. And so you can take a third one and link all 3 of them.
Oh, you can link all 3 of them.
Sure.
Oh shoot, y'all, we should buy that. I'll buy one.
Those are $2.90 each because they are a very useful item.
I bought definitely the periop of wound closure. I'm assuming what that does. I got that. Also the horn of silent alarm. I don't see what that does, but I'm guessing that it can alert like people without actually making noise.
All of those things are on D&D Beyond.
Okay.
So you can look on D&D Beyond.
Yeah, I just added the periop already.
Yeah.
Or periop.
And you see what it does. Essentially, you just stabilize when you're.
I'm just making sure. This is going to take all my gold, literally. So I'm just making sure that I'm doing it right and I'm doing all the math right.
Sure.
Yeah.
I almost built the belt to Dwarven Kind, almost. But that would have broke me. I wouldn't have been able to buy anything else, and I don't think I really need that right now. So.
The extra con would definitely help with some additional health.
So I will say that this inventory is here now. If there's something that you're interested in, wanted to set aside, she will set it aside for you, essentially, and then assume at some point after a certain amount of time, she'll ask if you're still interested and whatever else. But you want to set it aside there, she will do so. By the way, that blood axe is Grog's blood axe.
I know.
It is that item.
I know. As soon as I seen that, I was about to ask. I'm like, wait a minute.
It sure is.
You know what's funny? Oh wait, no, I don't. I would not be strong enough to use that.
No
way. There's no way. But I'm proficient in it. I just can't pick it up.
Like, any sense
no,
for you.
It like weighs 4 times more than I do. Like no, it's not.
Okay. So anyway, yeah. So, and if you're out there watching, listening there, if you follow the links to the World Anvil, you can see these things as well. They are. It is available for anyone to check out. We'll post a link in the as Matt Colville calls it, the doobly doo.
Oh yeah. Yeah, in the link below, but in the doobly doo. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
I kind of want that 1 ounce block made of unknown material. Like I'm just gonna add that.
Sure.
If you want to, I will buy it for you.
Oh no, I'm good. It's 1 gold. Like it's 1.5.
Yeah.
I'm good. I can afford that. Not by much, but I can afford it.
I want the 2 U-rings.
2 U-rings linked together, sure. And like they actually like are just like it's almost like a chain of 2 links. There's like these 2, but these perfect little like wooden carved rings that are linked together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely bought one of those sending stones.
And I want the thing with the cat hairs.
Cool. Okay. So yeah, any of those things, feel free to go ahead and put them on your character sheet. At the gold. And
once you got 1 ounce block anything on here though to remind it. I typed in exactly. And it's not
so if you it's a little fiddly sometimes with the adding a custom item. So sometimes you have to kind of like put it in and hit return, and it might mess up on you. So just keep trying. I'm not going to do this list away. So if you want to come back and what was that again? There, look at it again. You can always.
I was unable to edit mine last week, but I ended up deleting the one that you'd done and doing it from scratch, and it worked perfectly. So you can create it, and you can delete them, but you can't edit them once they're there.
It's weird. They're fiddly sometimes. I'm not sure why that is.
Yeah,
like
I just copied and pasted yours and
okay, perfect.
Changed it a bit.
Yeah, and actually, let me make sure I'm not in any of your character sheets to mess them up that way.
Yes, because I
am out. Yeah. So again, you're able to do all that, and pick things up there, check things out. Like I said, if there's something you want to set aside, send me a message in Discord so I know that it's there. Eventually, there'll be a different inventory. I will shuffle things around as new things appear, and as always, if there's anything you're specifically looking for, an item that's not on a list, you can always put a request, and they can either see if they can find one, or if there's anything in the back that hasn't been put on display yet.
My new friend Ollie will get it for you. She's really good at it.
Yeah, she's that's what she does. Okay.
Question: did you all buy all 3 sending stones or no? Because I have 305 gold left. If no one bought the third one, I'm going to buy it.
Eldon got one and I bought the other two.
Does
Okay.
anyone else want the other one? Because if not, I'm buying it.
Well, so Eldon got
Eldon
one.
got one and I got the other two.
Oh, the other 2. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So you're all set.
I
Do you need? Do you
Yeah,
need?
so we have all
No,
three.
I don't. I just he said specifically to buy all 3. I didn't know if the other one was bought. I don't want it.
I'll
just trying to
definitely
get to buy it,
keep.
if that makes
I'll
sense.
definitely keep one because I plan on flying a lot. I think that Trevor should get one, and maybe Amethyst, the other one, because.
Well, remember, we can always put in a request to get another one
range-
possibly too, though. So
Yeah.
I said people who have them, just keep them for now.
I would say, as you do buy these, Ellender does say that these are actually very popular items. They tend to get more in as they come in. So it's one of those things that because of in a big city when you've got context around there, people a lot of times will be these are in high demand typically. So if you are interested in more and some come in, she will set a couple aside for you if you want.
Love it.
Okay. So we will move on to a meeting with the Crimson Rest, or the Crimson Hunt, or unless there's anything else we want to do.
No, that's it.
Okay. So the Crimson Hunt, as I mentioned before, are in the northern part in this section here with these sort of the large open areas. And actually, they're actually gonna be right up here, kind of with this big open space behind. And they actually do ask you to meet them there. And you approach, and there's actually, imagine a large hunting lodge, like wood, like literally like wood columns, wood paneling, almost like a log cabin, but on a much larger scale. Two stories plus a big peaked roof, where obviously would be an attic of some kind. Another outbuilding on the side, kind of a long squat building, almost like a barracks maybe, but essentially a large hunting lodge almost. And you will see on a platform behind that lodge, you can kind of see up over the one-story barracks next to it there, you can see an airship actually parked on a large platform. It looks...
Look.
Yes. And many of you have been around them. A couple of you have actually been on one before. And this one's fairly small as airships go. It's not really meant for large transport. It's definitely a smaller version there. It'll still hold probably a good 30 people or so, depending on how far you want to go and how much you're carrying around. But it's maybe 75 feet long from end to end, about 30 or so feet wide, and at least about 3 decks or so, depending on the top deck, the aft and corsal deck. Well, let me just show you. This is kind of the layout of the Sable Drake. Should be able to see that now. It isn't quite right in terms of like not every bunk is on here. The cargo isn't all in where it places. That shows you the layout of the actual ship. There is a large ballista on the front in the forecastle, as they call it there, the front of the ship. It does have 2 sails. It actually has 4 because you're really looking at it there that it has 2 sails and 2 more that actually come off the side of the ship. So there's actually 2 that are kind of tucked back along the length of the ship on either side. And then 2 sails that are up there above there. And so this looks almost like a sailing ship in a way, in the way it's laid out there. But it obviously is on land, and it is at some sort of a some sort of like landing, like fold out legs it's sitting on. You can't really see much more detail from the distance there, but you do see, again, fore and aft sails, plus the 2 that are on either side, collapsed on the side. You may have seen some of these around before. Essentially, the sails give it a way to travel without having constant propulsion from spell plates and mana tech. So it actually can pick up the wind and everything else. The two main sails being how working just like a normal ship would work on the water, but the 2 sides actually kind of come down and kind of unfurl to the sides of the ship to give it more stability and catch more air that way. When it lands or anything else, those are rolled up and collapsed in, as they are now. So the ship is there on the back side again. So in meeting with you're at the front entrance there, you'll see sort of kind of like it's almost like a person in leather armor, kind of young, maybe in his teens, a young man. He's definitely showing. He's not even showing any kind of facial hair really much yet, but he has sort of the look of someone who's a squire or a fighter in training. He does have a small sword on his hip there, and is there answering the door as you approach.
I assume you are here to meet with Voldo, is that correct?
Looking over the group of you.
Yes, it is.
Very good. I will let him know, and he will be. Please come in.
And he ushers you into the main entryway there, and it's just this elaborate like entry chamber there with all manner of hunting trophies, like from animals, along with various weapons and shields and suits of armor and all things like that. There's some odd-looking things mounted on the walls, in terms of large, bear-like creature of some kind, a wyvern-like creature there, but with white scales. Those with your nature check there would recognize it probably as a frost drake. Essentially is a cold-based wyvern. At first you look at that and think dragon, and realize that no, it's actually not big enough, and the shape is all wrong, and there are no dragons in the world anymore. It's a little disconcerting to see that, Sora, as you're not normally seeing like draconic-looking things, heads mounted on walls.
Yeah, I have a very bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but you would know actually, because there in this part of the world, there occasionally are basically wyverns. They're based on poison. They live in more lowlands, live in trees and forests and such. We lost a camera. Oh, looks like Draven's camera discussion. So, okay, well, so for the moment, our camera's a little messed up. They'll be back in a minute. So the young man scurries off, and a moment later, Voldo arrives, and looking much the way you saw him last on the trip here. Only this time, you can see he's definitely been training and such. He's got sort of his arming coat on there, normally with armor. He's a bit of sweat in his forehead, but he approaches and good, you're all here. I appreciate you all being here today. The plan is to take off tomorrow to go to this village, and we wanted to make sure that all of our logistics are in place. And you can see that the ship is being prepped. It is mostly ready at this point. They are loading any supplies and such, and making sure that there are quarters and cabins set up for you as well. So it's based on this. It would mean potentially a 3-day trip getting there. All told, we will probably be in the air. We have about a week and a half worth of travel ahead of us, between all of our destinations and such. Before we get to anything, are there any concerns or questions you might have for me before we sit down and look over things specifically?
No, I think we got the gist of it. We were supposed to go in and help you guys kill the stuff, and then we're good, right?
That is our plan, at least, to make sure, according to our contract here, and at the point he does lead you back into what's effectively a war room. You will see a map laid out on the table, very similar to this map here. Kind of little pins and flags set in various places there, and you can kind of see right around there the general vicinity that you're going to be heading to. Sort of laying it all out. This map is a little bit more three-dimensional, at least, to it, and you can see there's a kind of a range of hills all along here. It's a bit of kind of rough territory, at least along the stretch. They are wooded hills and everything, but it's sort of sort of that forested hills, places that you can easily get lost if there aren't landmarks and such. So being in the air is going to be a lot easier to find this thing. So the plan is, at least, we would be able to take in 2 squads of skirmisher types, 6 people to a team, essentially. We will have a little air support. We will have our scouts and such from the air, and then you would tell us where you want to be put down, and enter the fray in whatever way you choose. I believe that essentially our skirmishing forces can carry any sort of reinforcements or keep anyone from escaping and running off into the forest and such. But you would be able to contain and deal with what's there. That seemed to get us on the plan for the most part.
Out of curiosity, as a clear my throat, sorry. What is the team composition that you are coming with? Yes.
Essentially, unfortunately, our heavy hitters are out with our other airship in other missions and such. So we do have 2 sets of skirmishers, fighters, archers, a battle healer of some sort in each squad. The ship crew, there is a ballista crew that will deal with any sort of firing down there. Plus, of course, the people manning the ship and the sails and keeping the ship where it needs to be. But for the most part, we are looking at 2 skirmishing units. Once we know the layout of the town or the area, we will know more where to place them to enact what they need to do. And then if there's a central town there, what we can either have them move into support, or you can punch in wherever you need to do.
And then another question: you are all aware that fire is their main weakness, yes?
Of course, yes. Based on typical vulnerabilities of troll, fire or acid, either one typically will do the job here. So
Yes.
we
Perfect.
do have ways of producing fire with each team. If it is just oil and lantern and such, but there are various ways that the team will be able to enact such measures. I assume you all have your own ways as well. I mean, I've seen some of your handiwork, so I know that there's definitely some destructive capability amongst your group.
Yes, we do have the potential for great destruction, actually. it is somewhat of a specialty of ours, and we are finding more fun ways of causing destruction.
Very good. All right then. Well, in that case, as I said, is there any specific questions other than that? We will be leaving tomorrow, as whatever earliest you can muster. We should be on. We should prepare at any point tomorrow to take off. We will make sure you are comfortable with rooms and such, and are able to. Again, with this ship, we can't really manage too many people who aren't part of the actual crew itself. It does require a good 8 to 10 people to keep the ship in the air and ensure that it's on course and the sails are trimmed and everything. So the extra you plus the extra 2 squads definitely would take up most of our space that we have. Anything else? Any other questions or concerns?
I just kind of nod or shake my head, just kind of anxious to get on the ship.
Okay. All right. In that case, he thanks you for coming. Specifies again until they can see the space that they're landing in. They'll know more as they approach. They would be able to take care of things from there. The idea potentially would be to do a flyover at a high altitude to get at least the idea where it is, and then come back around for placing offloading troops and such from there. So is the general plan that he's got anyway, unless you have anything else to add or change as once the situation's in place. So he will offer up some food and drink as you guys need. He will take you out to the ship to actually go and look at the actual Sable Drake. Kind of show you at least a little bit around the place. Effectively, you are given quarters in the back of the first lower deck. Most of the other troops and such will be staying on the lower deck and the lower deck, where they would normally be able to have cargo and such. But they've already got sleeping mats, bedrolls and such, and little cots and such set up for in the lower deck there for the skirmish squads. The main crew is out on this deck here with their cots and little hammocks and such set up. And the plan for the cargo hold, of course, is where you're going to be loading in your stuff from the tower. It is currently empty. There is nothing else in the cargo hold. Everything else is on ship. He does say he will be leading one of the skirmish squads, so he will be able to keep in touch and make sure that things are contained and that you have backup as needed. So, any questions on the ship?
I cannot think
Okay.
of one.
Alrighty then.
I think we're good.
I'm just looking around, still low key, hoping it floats on water and not actually goes up in the sky. Kind of scared, but knowing it does, it's like,
What you would know of
wanted
these
to
is they
go-
actually can land on water if they have to. Most of these ships, it is designed to be able to land on water. In fact, it was built initially, at least partially, as they are. They actually do move it around the river out there to make sure that it does still float, as it is an emergency measure for airships that are built these days. So you do have that. All right then. So the evening will pass. You guys can spend your evenings preparing, saying any goodbyes you wish to say to folks there, checking in, spending whatever time. What's that?
Gina's back home, right? so she's not.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, no, I wouldn't say anything there. 'Cause, by the way, I forgot to mention I would have been getting to know her more and more as those 2 weeks that I was working on stuff, but I forgot to mention that. But I definitely
No worries. Yeah. Eventually, yeah, it's not hard to spend. I mean, it is a small town, well, a small city at this point. There as it's starting to grow, and she does stick out. The only persons that stick out more than her would be, well, Sora, being the only one of the only dragonkin in town there, other than Iris.
Yeah.
And then Gina as the Goliath, Wayne the bugbear bouncer / woodworker, and a furbog that you've seen around town occasionally there, who's actually a priestess of the temple, the Chapel of Light, in Raven's Crest.
Gotcha.
Sort of the only other ones that really stand out in terms of, and Amethyst being the only tabaxi in town.
She likes it though.
Yeah, of course. Well, in that case, we are going to move on to departure the next day. You board the ship and spend some time kind of moving around the deck, being shown where to go, a little bit of safety as you're going to be flying in through the air. Essentially, the rails of the ship are actually about 6 feet high, so there's no real chance of you falling off the side if the ship does. You can sections of the rails can be lowered to move on and off, obviously, but essentially they're sort of almost like iron bars that raise up above the wooden deck of the ship there. So about a 3-foot railing and then a 6-foot extension it's raised up in places, and in a few spots can be lowered back down. So that way people don't just on a sharp turn, people don't stumble off the ship and go flying off. There are various mooring points where you can tie off, and they show you how to do that in the case of sort of evasive maneuvers or anything else. People are able to latch on and such. They do say that there are some emergency measures if somebody does go overboard. Lucas, you now have a featherfall thing there, so a bit something there, and other options there. But they do say that there are a few people on ship that can essentially fly short term if needed.
I also have Featherfall.
Yes,
It's prepared. It's a part of my artificer list.
Cool. Okay. They show you the rooms there, and there are basically down here. There are set up 5 bunks, like literally 2 bunk beds and another bed, so you're able to actually get there. They do say that if you want, you can sleep out in the main crew area there if you want. Don't want to be crammed into that space, but unfortunately, not a lot of space in the ship there. But there is that option as well. The captain of the ship, one Derek Anthos is his name, who is a human, very very like broad-chested, typical like pirate-looking kind of guy. He's actually got his hair pulled back there, thick beard, all kind of braided to keep out of his way. Kind of suntan skin from spending a lot of time outdoors, and sort of an odd, soft voice from some for someone's so there, and he all greets you as you come aboard, and it is very good to see you. It's wonderful to have you on board. I appreciate you being here. We will make sure that you get to your destination and are able to do what you need to do. If you have anything to do, and all of a sudden, you get down from there. He's like, and his voice shifts from this sort of pleasant thing there to a growl that makes no sense coming from the same person. And you actually, those looking at him closely there will see his the hair on his face get a little thicker as he growls there, and his features shift just a slight amount.
Fucking shifter.
Yep.
Nice.
Exactly. And those with any history check there would know that shifters are, while not common, they are well known for being from Scarlos. Shifters being those that actually aren't full werewolves but have the blood of beasts in them that they can tap into, in some way, in some fashion, be it bear or wolf or other creatures. So he growls out some orders to some folks there, and again, if there's anything you need, please let us know, and we will reach our destination as quickly as possible. There is obviously a person scrambles up, one of the crew members scramble up into the crow's nest, preparing to look around there, keep things clear. In a moment, you see sort of some sort of like little. It's actually a blinking light that he holds over the side there, and kind of clicks and flashes on and off. And you see the captain look up there. So the skies are clear. We should be able to leave soon. And once the last of everything is loaded there, and you guys are all set, he goes to the helm at the back there, and on the wheel, it actually has like an actual like wheel, an old thing there. There are a number of switches and such stuck onto the wheel itself. The wheel is sort of those little spokes there, and there are various little switches and things like that. And Eldon, you see that the actual conduit material goes from these down the column and into the base of the steering wheel under the ship.
I'm very intrigued by everything that's happening.
So you start to look around, and you will see that embedded in the walls, in various places, there are, which you can, if you pull out Detect Magic, because you can eventually cast it at some point here, you will see as the ship is starting to power up, various spell plates becoming active. And they activate in a weird sequence, like flash, like a whole kind of along the central part of the ship, actually on the lower deck. You will see a whole series of and they're inside the wall. You can't see the plates themselves. There's like a paneling on either side of it. It sits there, but you can see the magic activate there as a whole line of spell plates embedded in the walls. They're all activate in sequence, and within moments, the ship actually lifts. You feel sort of this almost like a hum of energy through the ship there, and with your detect magic there, and if anyone else is detecting magic as well, you will see that actually be somewhere beyond, maybe in the captain's quarters, you think back here on the main deck, you will see there is a flare of energy, a fairly large flare of energy, and you realize that it looks like the flare of energy from an accumulator when an accumulator activates on a Manatech device, almost that, but this is much larger. As the ship, the entire mass of the ship and everyone on it levitates and starts to rise up. The captain,
Sweet.
the ship rises up above the sea. You see the ground move away from you. You see the buildings get smaller as you rise above the walls, up over the canyon, and up a couple of hundred feet into the air. As he reaches out onto the wheel and activates something else, and you see a series of other spell plates. You feel an actual propulsion as the flight spell plates kick in, and the ship accelerates away from the actual city itself, up into the air. So between the levitation and flight, the ship is able to maneuver and such until it's well away from the city. You see the forested areas, all sort of the forest, the trees and stuff like move beyond you there. They start to turn, and you sort of get a little of a bank, and you sort of feel your stomach kind of like, and your feet kind of like as the ship sort of banks a little bit and comes back around to head south.
So I'm like looking at these flight plates and like taking out my little spell plates I have along and kind of like working on creating a flight plate for my own self.
Well, I would say that the plates themselves, again, are not visible out right there because they need to be, they actually, so you see the flare of energy and realize what they are, but the plates themselves are not visible to you at this point here. But you will see, again, it isn't one plate, it's a whole series of plates that all activate at the same time.
Sweet.
And again, another flare of energy from that massive, which you assume an accumulator, stuck behind the walls over here. You kind of see and feel that arcane surge. And then after about 10, 15, actually about, flight spell is 10-minute duration. After about 10 minutes, the ship sort of, the acceleration eases off and the ship starts to drift as the sails are pulled in, the side masts are there, and the sails, almost like a bat wings, almost are kind of dropped down below, angling down from the ship at about a 30-degree angle or so, as the sails all catch the wind and start accelerating faster than the flight plates were moving the ship before. You start making good time. The trees and the snow-covered landscape below you sort of definitely blurring by in way more than you'd than you've ever seen by horseback and such. And as we do that, see a couple of people need to take a break here. Let's take a quick break here. Take about a 5-minute break or so to you do need to do get drinks and such. And we'll be back in about 5 minutes and continue off with our journey.
Love it.
So again, you're leaving from Port Oris right here, and the ship sort of hugs the coastline for the most part for probably the first day of travel. As you travel south along, what's this is Eagle Eye Bay right here, as it sort of hugs the coastline and gets a good 120 miles or so of down the bay, and eventually the ship, you can sort of see again, the ship does have to recharge at some point here, and so it doesn't keep flying 24 hours a day all the time. So as it gets to be dark, the ship will sort of actually start to head down and find a clearing that it can actually land, and they actually land kind of on almost on a beach. You can kind of see the water and a few chunks of ice floating in the water at this is winter time here, and you see a fairly flat stretch of snow-covered beach as it crunches down along the coastline there. And you're able to kind of look around there, and you see your breath puffing out in front of you. They do actually disembark from the ship and go off on the side there to build up a fire. Again, because flying along there isn't a lot of things to keep yourself warm. So everyone's all bundled up in cloaks. Those of you who are able to regulate your own temperatures have no problems, but everyone else, they sort of get off there, build those fires, and kind of and from that one larger fire, set up smaller fires around it, so sort of kind of keep everyone kind of warming up there as they pass around warm drinks and food and such. The crew at this point is still in high spirits. They're eager to be out and traveling and such. In the last hours of day, in the last bit of daylight, they set up some. They actually set up some camps even, and places to sleep outside off the ship a little bit. Some go on the ships and sort of back in sort of a mixture. You'll see some of the skirmisher folks there setting up to do some combat drills and checking and doing some target practice and stuff there. The ones that are doing archer types, just sort of keeping sharp and doing whatever you're doing there. Um, the evening passes fairly uneventfully, but I need someone to roll me a d20.
I'll do it. I love
I'll
rolling
do it.
d20s. I caught it first.
Just roll a d20.
Yes, but I clicked first.
Ah, okay.
But I did it.
Okay.
Combo.
So the night passes uneventfully for the most part. You can hear some night birds flying off the side there. You hear some wolves howling off in the distance further inland, but nothing comes close. Nothing comes nearby you. You're able to have a fairly peaceful evening at least, getting some rest. And in the morning, the captain informs you that they're ready to disembark and pulls everyone aboard. They scatter their fires and do all such there. And head on out, and the ship takes off once more. Throughout the day, they do travel, still measuring the coastline here, and the captain informs you that their plan is to head inland the next day to start circling around the area where they expect to find this place. You actually as the ship as throughout the day of travel there is making good time, you will actually see the captain, the guy in the crow's nest. Captain, settlement of some kind. And he says, looks down there, and you see what looked like some buildings along on the coastline there. As the ship, seeing no better option nearby, as the sun is starting to go down, they actually come down and touch down uh on the outskirts of what once was a city. As you get as the ship comes down, you'll see that the buildings are not intact. Large holes in the roofs, um, overgrown weeds and twigs, even trees growing up. Actually, a tree growing up through one of the actual like smaller buildings, breaking out through the roof line there as a tree has grown up through the middle of it. You see what just the posts of what was once maybe a pier of some kind as you touch down on the outskirts of this ruined town. And I would say probably Eldon, Lucas, um, the two of you spent the most time looking at maps, I think, in general. Maybe Sora as well, in terms of like knowing where things are. Um, uh, and you piece it together, you're on the outskirts of the ruins of Mountain View. And it puts you right around here. And looking at sort of the layout and talking it over, Lucas and Eldon especially, looking at the layout as you're coming down there, you realize that yes, this is sort of the way the coastline here. Right up there, the coastline suddenly turns, and you can see kind of the tip of this large island out in the middle of the bay, and realizing that this is Mountain View.
While we're like getting off the ship, I'd like take out a couple of my little magical tinkering bulb things, twist them, and then I'd have them hover up as light because it's getting a little dark.
Okay.
We should possibly solve the mystery of what happened here. Yes. How about we adventure in and see if we can't find documents or mm, bodies, maybe examine. It has been a long time, but maybe we can find something. Yes?
Yeah.
Works for me.
And just give a little head nod like I normally do in agreement.
Hey, can I try to land the ship?
No. Like the captain, without missing a beat, no.
No, no.
Not even
No.
not even a little bit.
No. It is a delicate operation, and it is one that requires someone who knows what they're doing. At some point, maybe if you have a ship of your own, you learn how to fly. But we are really not in a situation where I can really have a novice do this. The stakes are too high in this case. So, and like Voldo and a couple other crewmates just sort of like, like shaking your head, like no. Not so much they don't trust you. It's just that the idea of a novice trying to land an airship, for the first time with a full crew, like, no.
Uh,
Um,
yes.
I drive my horse very well, thank you. And I'll walk off.
While you're walking, Sora, I don't think that possibly this is a very large thing, much bigger than a horse, and it would probably get us all killed. How about we not mess with the giant floating ship and you just stick with land animals? Yes?
Yeah, as long as Eldon's not flying it, I'm good either way because he'd blow it up.
I
Somehow.
can fly very well, thank you.
Eldon, I love you, man, but I'm you are just a little under me, man. I don't see you flying the ship.
I am. I would have you know that I have created flying boots. I will point down at my metal boots that have little rockets on the side of
I'm
them.
not doubting that you can fly, little guy. I'm just, the ship on the other hand is a little bit different.
I am very skilled when it comes to any mechanical things. I have.
Eldon, buddy. I'm just hassling you.
Oh, well, yes.
I know sarcasm is not your first language. I think Gnomish is.
Yes, gnome and dwarf. We actually kind of learned them.
I walk away from him at this point, just like shut up, and like I would like give him a tap on the shoulder and walk away from him.
So you will see in as the crew as the skirmishing crew especially disembarks, they again move out there. They kind of land, they exit the ship and go on the opposite side from where the town is essentially. So there's the ship, the town over one side. The crew is setting up little campsites on the other side of the ship. They're kind of keeping the ship between those places. So you're able to kind of head off there if you want to head out. And at this point, it's probably there's a little bit of daylight left there. You can sort of see the shadows are stretching out beyond you here. In the very ending there, you do in the last rays of sunlight there, you can actually see even from here the mountains of the Airy Mountains off in the far distance there, just the various peaks kind of making the horizon look a little bit jagged with the little white tops across them there as the sun is going down. Um, and the sun going down behind you as it rises in the east and sets in the west there. But you can see that sort of that faint outline, jagged outline of the horizon there, off the data, giving the town its name, obviously, the view of the mountains across the way there.
Very beautiful.
The town itself there is modest. It's probably about maybe 10 or so buildings that are in, like I said, terrible state there. None of them are intact. Roofs partially collapsed, sides of the houses, no windows remaining or any kind of that. Doors rotted away. For the most part, structures are somewhat leaning to one side. You can see some foundations and some others, maybe some more like sod construction kind of thing like that have all fallen apart and gone away, or some of the outskirts there, possibly wind or something else has blown over and knocked over some things and kind of scattered the debris over time. The history of this is it's been over 100 years since this town existed, essentially.
I was kind of looking for a town center or something along those lines. I'll send my familiar up to kind of fly around.
All right, and is dark vision because it's an owl, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, 120 feet of dark vision.
Okay, so it kind of does a circuit there, and it's a similar view from the air. Again, just ramshackle buildings there. Nothing is moving that you can see. But I'd like everyone to give me perception checks. Nice. Okay.
I don't see anything.
Yep. Sora, you're having Lucas, I would just say you're kind of like the day you've spent let's say you spent a lot of time the day there, and you're sort of like kind of as the ship has been moving on at a pretty good pace there, even though you're not bothered by the cold so much there, the wind blowing in your face for the most part, you're kind of still squinting a bit there and recovering from kind of that uh, uh, daytime rush of air over your face and everything else, and so you're still kind of a bit windblown from landing here. Sora, the dark the sun the light going down behind you, especially as we're getting into sunlight here, is it's hard to pick out anything. You see structures ahead of you, but you don't make out any details or anything else like that. um Eldon, while you don't see anything more than what you kind of see upon approach there, your owl does again see structures are able, and between you're able to pick up the largest structure that's there. What would have been probably a two-story building, wooden structures there. It is definitely partially collapsed. You can see gaps in the walls as you approach there. um, Trevor, same thing. You can kind of pick out details there, and you see the largest building, and off to the side, off to the center of the cluster of of broken down buildings. But Amethyst, you can hear. I mean, your dark vision kicks in. You're able to see the details of the structure of the town and all that, but you hear a soft cry, sound of a woman or a child, maybe something. You can't pinpoint a location. You can just hear this, and there's really no way to tell specifically. It's somewhere out before you. You can definitely say it's not coming from behind you. At first, you look behind you, think it's someone from the ship, is one of the crewmates hurt or something like that, and then you realize that no, it's definitely out, coming from somewhere in the town, the
That's not
buildings
obvious that
ahead
I
of you.
can hear someone
Okay,
crying.
and you, Sora and Lucas. I mean, maybe the wind. You don't hear the sound of a voice so much, but you definitely, there's a bit of a rush of wind through the gaps in the buildings and the trees and such.
Would I have heard
The
anything
trees,
from 14, by the way?
not really, and that's again you hear something, but it
Gotcha.
sounds like the wind through kind of whistling through the trees and such. Um,
I think you're
El-
hearing something, Amethyst.
It's not the
Eldon,
wind. It's a person. I can hear a person crying.
I thought we couldn't see any people.
I
okay.
mean, if you say you hear it,
What
then
kind
I
of?
believe you. But like, I don't hear nothing.
Well, let it, Amethyst. What did it sound like? Did it sound like a grown
Like,
person? So it sounded like a monkey.
it sounds like someone crying. You sound like a monkey.
So I've heard.
How about we all be
Well,
at the ready?
yeah,
Yes.
I would too. There ain't no person, no signs of life around anywhere besides some structures. I haven't seen any types of people. Yeah, we need to be on our guard for sure.
Heading towards the larger two-story building in that center square ish. Heading towards them.
And the buildings are fairly intact, right?
So there's holes in the walls, there's holes
Right.
on the roofs. Nothing here is livable. I mean,
Right. No, I got
they're standing.
you. Right.
A few of them are leaning a bit, but they're and some are completely rotted away and leaving only just like jagged bits of foundation and such. But none of them are livable at this point there. But the two-story structure is, I mean, it's standing. I mean, um, there's definitely uh, um, still some structural integrity there. At least it's not collapsing. At least, All right. So, anything as you approach there, looking for anything specific, or
Can
Heads
I
on.
can I use my senses to tell if it is um dead, undead?
yeah, let me double check what that looks like. Perfect. Thank you. All right. So, um, as you approach, you activate your divine sense. Undead. There's definitely an undead presence here.
Oh.
Guys, there's a lot of undead things here.
Not a lot.
Trevor, do not shoot her in the back again.
Not a lot. One.
Shoot. Who have I shot in the back?
One. Just
One.
one.
Not a lot. Like you sense one, and you start to try to pinpoint it there, and you realize it's not coming from the main structure, the large one that you're walking toward there. It's from one of the buildings off to the right.
Guys, I think we should go over here if we're going to inspect things because I feel some undead presences over here.
Oh, good. Yeah, let's go talk to the ghost.
Yes. Did you just perchance say undead?
I did say undead.
Um. Undead are very dangerous.
For you, maybe.
They are.
So,
But I mean,
I believe the last time we fought undead, we killed an entire. Trying to do a
the
mental.
haunted house that we own.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think we're good, but who's to say
But-
we're gonna kill this thing? We need to find
I
out.
also think that we should kind of, if we're gonna go over there and do it, we should be very quiet about going over there and doing it.
Yeah, 100%. Hey, ghost lady, and then I'll call out really loud.
Thora, give me a perception check with advantage.
Very quiet.
Perception with advantage.
Yes.
I hope it's a poltergeist. I love it when they throw stuff at us.
I do not like that. Wow. Wow.
Okay.
I'm not trained in
Um,
perception, y'all.
You think?
Well, I will say this. I mean, you do. So you sense an undead presence somewhere off to your right, and you look there. You do not see anything. You cannot spot anything over there. There's no glow of anything. Um, so you all see her looking off to the right somewhere. Go ahead and give me a perception check as well, everybody else, to see now that she's looking off in that direction at least there to see if you guys spot anything.
I seen something. I don't know
Okay.
what. I seen something. Woohoo!
Who else spots anything? Amethyst, yeah. So, um,
That just rolled off a 19 for one. That is devastating.
so, nice. Okay. Amethyst. However, the funny thing is, this is actually kind of funny then. Trevor, you spot something pale and white that is. You just catch the flicker of something moving past an open doorway in one of the structures up to the side. Like something just passes by the door for the moment.
What's the height?
And human sized. So essentially, what you by the 25, what you will notice as well that as it's passing, it's wearing something long and flowing. You see that much there. As it passes the doorway, you see that long flowing dress or mist or whatever it is moving through the wall as it moves along the inside of the building. You can see it coming through the wall. Lucas, you spot movement over that direction there. You definitely catch there, so you can kind of see where it's at there. Amethyst, you find yourself looking off to the side, and kind of as sort of like, oh yeah, something's over there. And everyone's looking off this way. You just turn around, look the other direction. Mostly, I'm not going to look that way. Everyone else is looking that way. I'm going to look over here instead. So you see nothing of that over there. However, there is a faint tingling from the blade at your waist.
Oh.
And you feel it's almost words, but you get this sense of danger, watch out, beware, as
Oh.
you are not caught by surprise, as a figure that looks, let's see if this shows up over here.
You're welcome, everybody.
And shortly after that, you all hear the same thing. And I need to see if I can pull this image up here.
Don't be a
image. Does it come up here? It's not going to let me do this, is it? Darn it. Let me. I'm going to link. I want to try to pull this into here. Oh, here it goes. All right. So you see this figure move through the wall and come toward you. And so you're not all caught by surprise, thanks to Amethyst. And as those of you that spotted it, even Sora, expecting it there, this ghostly white figure comes through the wall, moving toward you. I need you all to roll initiative. Let me pull up the thing here first. Turn order. There we go. Now we're in place.
Ugh.
Oh no.
March, no bueno.
Is it initiative working there? The turn order doesn't seem to be populating here.
Oh, we have to put our character on the paper before we can actually put it on there.
Oh yes, let me put. Sorry. Yeah, there's no battle map. There's only one enemy, so we're.
We need a map with the characters on.
Let me pull you out here so you're all on the map, and you can pull out anything else you need in terms of that. So you're all here now.
That's what she said.
There we go.
I don't like it.
Oh no, Sora.
Oh no, I always roll bad.
Yeah, but we need you to go early. We need you to go really
morning
early.
Counter where the paladin going early is really kind of important. But
yeah.
I mean, yeah. You can all hold your turn until it's my turn, but like,
let me put you on there. Let me maybe fix that one. That should be 2. Okay. All right. Is everyone on there now? I'm not seeing Trevor yet.
No, I'm right there. Oh no, I didn't put on the thing. Hold on, I'm dumb. I haven't done this in a while, you guys. All right, hold on.
If you click your character and re-roll it, you can then change it on the turn order. So
yeah, I'm about to. Yeah, I'm about to.
I can do that and maybe get a higher roll.
It's definitely not a 19.
No, you're already on. You're already on there.
Oh, great. Okay, I'm changing it.
Okay, so Eldon, you see this ghostly figure moving through the wall, coming toward you there, and you just see the face, kind of stretched, pale skin over a skeletal-looking face there, and withered arms and hands, flowing white hair, and a tattered dress, as it moves toward you. It's about 50 feet away.
Don't like that. Let's do. I lift up my gauntlet and the barrels spin around to the magic missile.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and unleash second level magic missile.
Okay. That's not a mana attack, is it?
No, this is.
That's your focus for that. Right. Gotcha. Cool. All right. So that's going to be what, 4 missiles then? So 2, 1, 2. That's 3. Okay, 8, and 1 more. 10. Okay.
Saddest rolls ever.
Okay.
Then bonus action, I'll go ahead and pop out my force turret.
Okay. So this comes into play. And it takes an action to deploy it, right? And then an action to fire it, and a bonus action to fire it.
Bonus action.
Okay. Oh, cool. Yeah, so you definitely hit. Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, roll damage on that one. That definitely hits. So yeah, the cannon comes out to place there and flashes out.
There we go.
Yes. And so the missiles all kind of like they kind of like rip parts of it away, but nothing really hits solidly. And then the cannon actually hits like kind of the center, the just the edge of the chest there, and kind of you see a tattered, ghostly flesh sort of like part and rip out past her as the bolt flies through it. And then she gets to go. So she just looking down at that and seeing all of you, she just looks out and you see the mouth just drop open and spread out, and this screech rips out over all of you there. I need you all to make a wisdom saving throw.
Do I have that thing where if you're next to me, you still get the bonus?
Check, I'm not sure. Oh no.
That wasn't an attack either, was it? So I can't, make her I can't make her re-roll that. Oh wait, no, I get to re-roll that.
Yes,
that was that one.
Is it a charm or a fear effect, Jim?
Let me just double check this. I don't think.
Nat 20.
Is this a spell effect?
It is a magical effect, yes.
Okay, I've got advantage.
I went from a nat 1 to a nat 20.
You can add 4
yes,
to that too if you're within 10 feet of me.
And it is a fear effect.
I get
and then this. Starting at 7th level, you and friendly creatures within 10 feet of me cannot be charmed while you are conscious.
Yep, that's not a charm thing. It's a fear thing.
Yep, and I rolled a 22.
Okay.
Oh.
You can still add.
Excellent.
You can still add 4 to your thing.
So that would be a 14 for me.
Okay.
20 for me.
So 14. So anyone below 13. I couldn't see all the rolls there. I don't think so. We're all good. Okay. So none of you are frightened. That's fine. And so you feel that there. But now I need you all to make a Constitution save. As the wail happens.
18.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, keep rolling high, guys. Oh, sorry.
He technically rolled a 10.
Okay.
Yeah, he is right by you.
Okay. Let me. Uh-oh. Okay. All right. So anyone below a 13? Just Lucas?
Just Lucas.
Hey, Lucas. You immediately collapse. You are at 0 hit points. Just
What?
You drop.
No.
The rest of you all take 8 psychic damage. As the Banshee wail.
But I've got resistance to psychic damage.
Then yeah, you only take 4.
Yay.
And I don't suppose he gave us an inspiring speech before this, so I am down. Not down, but yeah, I took all.
Nope. Okay. So she does like float toward you as this happens there, and she's about 25 feet away as she unleashes this wail. All right. Trevor.
A little chat with her.
I'm looking over. I'm seeing him down.
Yeah, he just drops.
And I'm looking over at her, and I'm looking. Oh, go ahead first. Sorry.
Good. So Lucas, like you literally just like all the color, not like you just sort of like see him go slack and become pale, not like ghostly pale, and just like it's like that sort of like flush of like, and you just collapse into a heap on the ground. And so Trevor, you are up.
Yep, I'm going to look over and scream out. I'm not going to do it in character, but I'm going to scream out Lucas, and I'm going to look over at this bitch. And as far as I know, it wouldn't. I'm just going to use my rifle like I normally would. And if I blow action surge now, that's a total of 4 shots.
That would be yes.
Okay, he's taking. I'm going to wait to see if the first one hits before I decide to use that or not. But yeah, and this will be sharpshooter on all 4, by the way.
Okay.
Just so it's clear in advance.
Yep, and then just
Crap.
roll your attacks. Yeah, there should be an attack roll on each one of those, I believe. Okay, so
20.
-5. Okay, so
30.
all right,
30 piercing.
that will hit.
All right.
Okay. Okay, next shot.
Oh God!
Wow. Okay.
This is my fourth nat 20, guys.
Okay.
No, third nat 20. Sorry, but still.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Does she look like you said it tore into her, like it went right through on her the force damage? But does it look like she's affected at all by this?
Not very much. You see the bullets. I mean, they're passing through her. The bullets themselves are not magical.
Correct.
I mean, the effect is a magical effect, but it's the ammunition itself is not magical.
I got you.
So it just and
I still
he
don't.
does a little bit of damage.
I don't know that, so I'm still. This is like I said.
Yeah,
This is all
sure.
structure. So there's a 15 hitter now.
15 does not hit.
Okay, so that one misses, and I got one more. Nope.
Yep. So, so yeah, the first two, the first hit passes through. You see there's sort of a warping of effect. It goes through there, and she reacts a little bit. The second one definitely has an impact, not an impact, but I mean definitely.
I got what you're saying.
It drills right through the center of her, and you see this sort of like almost it's like you're punching water, and it's sort of like kind of that sonic boom effect.
So by the
as it
look
ripples out there.
Right. So I'm seeing she's resistant to it, but not immune to it, basically.
Effectively, she's not immune to the crit.
Yeah,
and the other two shots, they kind of go through like ghostly fabric, but not her, as they just sort of part and pass by her. That would be Trevor. Amethyst. She, you definitely see she's sort of like, just at this point, like any human-ish expression is gone. It's all just rage and grief, and the face is all like torn and slashed by the look of it. And she's just like hunched over, ready to move toward you.
Oh, goody.
Amethyst, you are up. Ooh, mind spike. Okay. That is interesting. Okay, so she will make a save. I will roll that. If she can. No. Okay. So Amethyst, yeah. So you see the pinkish violet energy, uh, shoot out there and rip through the skull as it sort of parts out the backside, and sort of ghostly, tattered like flesh and ectoplasm for that matter, sort of spatter out behind as she sort of like leans over, like screeching and reaching out toward you there. It like you can see that hole does not go away. It is still there, and she's sort of like wavering, and literally her image is almost flickering and wavering as she sort of stands there in place there. She's in bad shape by the look of it. Sora, as knowing undead a little bit, there's not much of this thing left. Lucas is down. You should make me a death save, Lucas.
We'll get to you, buddy. Oh my God! Don't be in that one. Jesus Christ! I just realized that.
Is there a death save button anywhere?
Yeah, on D&D Beyond, it's
Yeah, you can click on it and roll 20, and it'll roll it for you.
If you're beyond, I believe it's there.
It says,
hit points.
Yeah, under your temp points, it'll say successes, failures, and death saves. There's a button.
That's in roll 20. He's on beyond.
Oh.
It should be up. When you're at 0 hit points, it should pop up there as an option for death saves. Let me see if I can see it there. I'll be on there. I believe let's put you at 0. Why is it not there? Oh, because your current still says 52. We need to apply the damage here. Let me just do that real fast. There you go. Now, if you refresh there, it should be there. So now you can click on, I believe there should be a button to click on there. Is there a roll option for that?
There's a management thing that shows how many successes or failures you've got. I can't find them.
Doesn't have an actual button to roll it. Okay, we just roll a d20, and we can always keep track from there. You can just roll a d20 manually. It's a straight. Oh wow! So
He's back with a hit point. Like,
yeah.
There you go.
So you kind of like, and for the first time in a long time, you feel cold. Not the cold of the outside, but feel cold inside of you, like your chest. You feel yourself shivering, as you come to with 1 hit point, and but that your whole body is shaking and shivering in a way you haven't felt in months now. But you are conscious, and Sora, you are
I
up
thought
there.
I thought you were a bard, not a barbarian. And I'll hit it with my
Okay.
weapon.
Maybe he's a barbarian.
A barbarian, that would be awesome.
It is a fun combination.
I almost thought I don't even have to play a bard yet.
If that doesn't kill her, I will add a smite.
So essentially, yeah, you feel that hammer, the glow of the hammer sort of flares up a bit there as you bring it down through the form there, and it just sort of the form parts from the force of the blow, and essentially you just see it open up and shred and unravel just like fabric almost. It's just like literally just, and she screeches one last time, much more faint, and you feel you almost wince in that scene when it did to Lucas before, but it's nowhere near it doesn't have anywhere near the power it does before as she ripples and fades away.
I
Lucas, are you
say a
okay?
prayer for her soul.
Yep.
Lucas, what the hell was that?
Do I know what it was?
It looks like you.
Check.
Are you all right? It looks like you've seen a ghost.
Uh,
Uh,
You
Chuck.
heard of
Oh.
you've heard of banshees. They're not that uncommon there. Banshees, yeah, especially spirits of
I knew exactly what it was when you popped this thing on there. I'm like, mother.
primarily elves for the most part that can be formed into banshees, usually female. But yes, their wail can strike a person completely unconscious immediately. And they auras of fear. Obviously, as you've now experienced firsthand, what a banshee can do. At this point, because this happened so fast, but the wail was heard. You see Voldo and a number of the skirmishers have kind of scrambled around the side of the ship there, and you can see behind you there. Some of them have weapons drawn there, some of them arrows out there. Is everything all right? As Voldo kind of moves forward a little bit there. Are you okay? What was that?
It was all good. It was just a banshee. We handled it.
Just a banshee. Just Lucas. I've seen that effect before. Get them a hot drink. And so one of the guys runs off there to where the fire where they're setting things up there and brings back a mug that's steaming in the cold there.
That'd be a hot toddy.
Yeah, definitely could do him some good. Hey, I know what a hot toddy is.
Um,
I mean, Voldo does hold out a flask and like, do you want something a little stronger?
Mr. Lucas, if you would give me 1 second here, I will flick the little lash on the side of my glove, and it powers up with this green energy, and I will hit you with a 3rd level cure wounds.
So nice, 20 hit points back there. Very cool. So you can take the 20 hit points back there, Lucas. Should we put you at 21 now? The the town before you is silent now, and Sora, your divine sense is still active there, and you don't see any other undead. No other signs of undead out there within 60 feet at least. As you move forward a little bit there and kind of look around, you don't sense any other undead or anything else like that would ping your divine sense at least. Things are quiet. The wind picks up again there, and you all sort of like listened for that woman female cry that Amethyst had mentioned before, but it is silent other than the wind itself.
Amethyst, do you hear anything?
No, I don't think so.
So do we think that cry was her?
Probably. It's a banshee, wasn't it?
It was.
They do tend to wail, don't they?
At least that one did.
Spirits of grief and anger, and wrath. Those who are killed in a terrible way and linger to take others down with them.
You think it's safe to assume she's not the only one?
I don't feel anything right now, but that doesn't mean if we move 60 feet that I won't feel something else.
My dagger will tell me if anything else is nearby.
It is quiet currently.
Being right by you, basically.
Okay.
Let's go into that tower we were going to go into first.
Well, do you think we should? I look over at Lucas. I know he healed you a bit, but how are you holding up?
Yeah, I'm gonna cast it. I'm gonna get me sitting out and cast on myself.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt, I don't reckon, to take a short rest before we move on to that tower, maybe 20, 30 minutes or so. Get our bearings before we go in there. There's no immediate threat around us.
Not right now, but if we take a short rest, there might be.
Then if we hear something, then we'll go. It's not like we're sleeping. But if you all want to move on to the tower, I'm down for it. The quicker we get
If I'm having a short rest, I'm having a cat nap.
Lucas, how many more points do you need to be at full?
I think you're at 28 now, so what does that be, 14? 24?
Honestly, guys, not to put too fine a point on it, but I blew my load on that chick.
Ew.
So a short rest wouldn't hurt.
You just did it.
Okay.
You dirty bird.
I didn't honestly mean that like that until you guys said something.
Well, there's 4 more, and then we can take a rest.
Hey guys,
Yes.
what's our engine sounds like a parrot?
What's that?
What's our engine sounds like a parrot?
I don't know.
A carrot!
I hate everything about what you just did right there.
Wow.
Can she take a whale from the grave real quick, please? Make a wisdom save.
No. So
Amethyst. Now is not
your
the time for pirate jokes.
You take your time. The sun sets completely at this point there. It is now dark, completely black outside. You're able to kind of get your bearings, whatever you need to do there. Essentially, those of you who cast spell slots don't get them back, but because none of you are wizards, but you can at least
action surge back though.
Okay. You're able to move off to the tower there. It is quiet. Nothing else moves up there. No other undead presence there. If you activate your divine sense again there, the town is quiet at least. As you approach the 2-story, what looks like a town hall essentially. Very rough construction for the most part there. It's intact enough that it's not going to collapse immediately, but it is not in good shape there. The wood is worn. kind of you can see kind of warped in spots because again it's been on this on the seaside for a century, and most of the wood is weathered and uh, almost petrified practically at this point there from the salt and wind rushing through here. You okay? So Trevor's uses hit dice there to get back to full.
I was a waste, but whatever. I'll get one of
Yeah.
them back soon enough.
Yep.
I will real quick. Because I do use ammunition, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have not bought any pretty much since we started, and yeah, I carry a lot. But wouldn't I be running pretty low by now, like roughly?
I mean, do you want to spend time tracking ammunition?
Not even a little bit. But if you're not
I
going to make
don't
me,
either.
I'm not doing it. Good.
You have-
Thank God. No.
track-
I'm good. Yeah, let's move on.
You
No,
track
we're
your
good.
accumulators, but not your ammunition. I'm not
Yes.
going to worry about how many
That would
bullets.
be a
Because literally,
nightmare.
you're taking a slug of metal and putting it in a chamber and then hitting and pulling the trigger. It's not like
Especially with
it's
how
not
much.
even it's not even a full casing for a bullet. It's literally just the
Yeah.
little metal.
We
slug
literally have our own workshop. It's safe to assume we can make ammo whenever I want. So like,
you have enough.
okay.
At this point, I would say if it was a long set of encounters where you had no chance to do anything else like that, then I might worry about it.
Yeah, I got
But
you.
that would be more of a plot thing than it would be I need you to keep track of how many slugs of metal you have in a pouch.
Yeah, thank you for that because I have not been doing that.
Yeah.
Do you want
I'm
to?
not gonna,
No, I don't.
I don't want to force you to do it, and I'm not going to do it for you. So I mean, I'm
No.
assuming you have enough ammunition to carry things.
No, I had to do that with my Ranger, and it was a nightmare.
Yeah, it's a pain in the butt. So you are able to approach the structure there. There is no door at this point. There, it may have been at one time, but hinges would have rusted off at this point, and wind has blown whatever fragments of a door would have collapsed down there. And you're able to look inside. It is dark, of course. There is no you don't see any movement. You don't hear any sounds as you approach this building. What do you want to do inside?
Knock on the door.
There is no door.
There's no door.
Then I just go in.
Okay. Dancing lights coming up?
Yeah, if it's dark.
Black inside.
Yeah, I'd say
No light.
and headlamp.
I'm gonna stick closest to the one furthest behind that has a light source because I can't see crap right now.
Sure. No worries. So yeah, you're able to, between the dancing lights coming up there and on the headlamp there, you can all see just fine. It's brightly lit there. It's sort of a wide open chamber. What probably was like a meeting room essentially. You just walk in. There was a second doorway on the back wall. It's probably a good like 50 feet across this chamber is, but the floor is very warped and uneven. There are pillars. There are little like wooden pillars in place there. It's as you step inside there, you feel yourself kind of almost leaning a little bit to the right, and the pillars are slightly off, just not enough to be like danger of collapse. But there's definitely a lean to the right as you move into this room. There's no furniture. The remnants of like a desk or a counter of some kind on the wall. Actually, there would be some like broken, weathered pieces of like chairs and maybe a table, but nothing intact. Nothing that someone's been in use for a long time, at least. Very plain looking, very at this point, obviously weathered and splintered in some cases there. But you will see signs that animals have been here, maybe rats, maybe raccoons, maybe something about that size there, but nothing much larger than that. Have kind of tracked through here. But other than that, nothing that really stands out in this chamber here. You do see that behind the counter there is a stairway that goes up to the second level. But you can't see much more than that from where you are here. What would you like to do?
Guys, I'm gonna make my way in there, but because you said the wood was warped, I'm going to do it gently. Like I'm going to test out the wood to make sure it'll hold my weight before we just keep going.
Yes. Also, I can investigate in front. I am quite a bit lighter than you are. If you would allow me to go in front, Sora, maybe.
Did you just call the Dragonborn fat?
That's what I heard too, but I assumed it was a figure of speech.
Eldon,
Was
that
not
was very
actually
rude.
me calling her fat. It was me pointing out a simple fact of physics.
Right.
She weighs
That she
significantly
weighs-
more
Yeah,
than I do.
Eldon, please stop. Yeah, I agree. You should go investigate, though, little buddy.
I mean, let's think about it. I only
But-
weigh 30 pounds. How much do you weigh, Sora?
And now he's asking her weight, with or without the armor. Don't do that.
I am guessing without armor.
He's still not breaking character either. He's still not breaking character. He's just in his He's like, I fucked up, but I'm just gonna go with it.
So I'm going to go over to Eldon, and I'm going to pick Eldon up, and I'm going to spin around, put him back down, pat him on the head, and give him a little push.
Okay, well, I stumbled directly into the wall.
At least she picked you up and not me. That wouldn't have went well.
I mean, I still stand by the simple fact of physics, but yes, I shall go forward.
So you move into the room there. The floor does creak ominously in a couple of spots there, but and while you are much smaller and weigh less there, you have a lot of equipment on you, and so there's a couple of spots where go ahead and give me an investigation check first, and just kind of move as you move into the room.
With guidance.
Sure, go for it. Yep, absolutely. All right, so yeah, you're able to literally like step through, and a couple of spots where the floorboards creak a little bit. You step to the side and say, "Don't step here," kind of like that. And so some weaker spots there, but you're able to avoid any hazards or trip or bad floorboards and everything else. That where in the room do you want to head to? Because it's mostly open chamber there. There's remnants of furniture
Is there,
scattered a bit here and there.
say like
And the
furniture, is
counter.
there like a desk? Or a counter?
There's the counter off to the left side, yeah. So so behind the counter is like sort of is the wall. The counter is away from the wall. There's the stairs up that wall behind there. So, so yeah, you're able to go behind the counter there. With an investigation check, you're able to spot what would be like some rusted plates, some rusted tankards, maybe like pewter or something like that. Some wooden plates and bowls and such like that, all weathered and worn, nothing that's intact really or usable at this point. But with that investigation check as well, you will spot at the far end of the counter there what looks like sort of a safe. It is rusty. It is not in good shape, but it is still closed.
I'm gonna go ahead. I take a look at it. Would it make more sense for me to break it open or to pick it open? Looking at it.
You think examining it there that probably it's probably rusted shut. Between the rust and the mechanisms probably aren't going to work if it's a key or a tumbler system, whatever is going to be inside there, it's probably not going to be intact for this amount of time. So yeah, you're probably going to need to break it open.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and try and do that.
Okay.
Let's do Firebolt.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me to hit just to see like how well you direct it. You're not going to miss. It's just whether you can actually do something intact, something to it. Okay, roll your damage too. You definitely, yeah. You essentially melt. Essentially, you kind of like aim at a little firebolt there, and you sort of like almost like a little laser, just kind of guide that firebolt into where the lock mechanism would be, and like the metal heats up enough that it sort of like slags a little bit. You think that yeah, it's definitely whatever's holding it closed there probably isn't going to be intact anymore. Unfortunately, there's no way to really. I mean, you would normally insert something and pull it open there, so you need some way of pulling it open. So you pull out some tools to kind of jam into the space there, and now that the locking device is melted, you're able to force it open. A little crowbar kind of thing like that there, so you're able to
Yeah,
pry
I've
it open.
definitely got a crowbar in my
Okay.
pack. Um,
Uh,
yeah. So let's go ahead and pop that open.
Inside, you find what you see the remnants of a pouch of some kind. The cloth is long since rotted away. It's very dusty in there. There's no cobwebs or anything else because it's been sealed. But you find a pouch, what the remnants of a pouch there, and as you go to touch it there, it sort of disintegrates and falls apart there, and some coins spill out. Um, all silver and copper. The copper is very corroded, and um, uh, the silver is very tarnished and everything else like that. But it's similar to old coins from Oris. Probably late minted, maybe some. It's definitely not coins there. You do find some more modern coins in there. That would be like similar silver and copper, but just some of the early minted coins that are still in use today. Um, so call it it's 25 copper, 18 silver in old coins, and a total of 35 copper and 16 silver. So I'm sure you got all that or not.
Can you go one more time?
No. It was so in modern coins, 35 copper, 16 silver, um, and then uh, uh, just some loose, older, tarnished
Yeah.
coins.
Yeah. I was pulling up my bag of holding,
Not
talking
not
right
a
here.
problem. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
So yeah, in terms of like more like coins that would be usable as coins, you also find a little um, it would be I guess like a signet ring. Um, set inside there. It's appears to be gold, but again, it's probably gold plated as it's kind of tarnished a bit, with a little emblem. Um, and you see what looks like um, a maybe a boat or a ship. It's hard to see the design. Is like it's very very old there, and some jagged. And you realize, oh, it's basically a boat in front of the Mountain View skyline. Is what you're seeing there is this little signet. Um, I mean, it's a historic thing, probably worth something. Um, Other than that, looks to be maybe some kind of paper was in here, but they've well,
Sorry.
corroded.
Sorry.
It's okay. Um, they've long since like turned to dust.
Okay.
You know,
There's no. Sorry, little man's in here.
no, worries.
The so there's no like legible writing on anything. I can't make out.
No,
Any.
no,
Okay.
it's all faded and the paper sort of kind of disintegrated at this point. There, it's been long. Um, yeah, it's nothing in there is really intact at this point.
I'll hold up my sending stone. Who has the sending stones?
Amethyst does. She has the other two.
Okay, I would. In here, I have found a small safe. It had a handful of coins and a signet ring with a boat in the view of, in Mountain View. And then I am going to attempt to go up the stairs. Maybe there is some additional. Sorry. um, Maybe there is some additional information upstairs.
What you're doing is as he's moved in through there, so he comes out from behind the counter, and then starts heading up the stairway.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and try and go up the stairs.
Okay. Give me another
Moving
okay.
with, say investigation with guidance again.
Sure. And as I said, as he's heading up there out of view, what are the rest of you doing? Okay.
I will follow
Oh,
Eldon
crap,
and
my
go up
door.
the stairs.
I really think we should all stay together, don't you guys?
Okay.
That always works out well.
All right. In that case, go ahead and Eldon. So you're about halfway up the stairs. They're kind of looking at the stairs, and it
This
seems
is-
all pretty intact, for the most part there. And then you hear Sora, a heavier footfall on the stair down below you, as Sora starts coming up the stairs there. So who's going up after Sora?
I can go. No.
Okay. In that case, Ellen, you get at the top of the stairs, turn as you see there. Sora, I need you to give me a reflex save.
What button is that?
The reflex save button.
Is that a
Dex.
Sorry,
reflex?
sorry,
Dex-
dexterity
Dex
save.
save.
Dexterity save.
Dexterity
I've
save.
been playing Pathfinder on
Reflex
Tuesdays.
reflex is another game.
Yeah, I've been playing
I'm like-
Pathfinder on Tuesdays. Sorry, so yeah, it is dexterity save. And
I'm like,
Amethyst, you as well, since you're following
Can I-
behind her.
can I use my inspiration to try and
You
reroll?
absolutely can if you wish. Amethyst, yes, you also need to make a dexterity save.
That's a little better.
And Amethyst, you will have it with advantage. Oh, you're fine. Okay, so Eldon, you're at the top of the stairs. Sora's up there. Amethyst is essentially so. Sora, you're about 2/3 of the way up there. Amethyst, you're about at just like about a third of the way up there. And you hear this crack, creak, crunch as all of a sudden, Sora, you drop. Like the stairs that you're on just break out from under you, and with a 12, you manage to not crash through them, but you do kind of like catch yourself partially as your feet go through. So you're kind of like holding yourself on the wall there. You don't take damage, but you're kind of stuck for the moment. Amethyst, you just jump back off the base of off the stairs there, and land on the ground floor again, as you watch Sora drop through the stairway partially. She hasn't dropped completely through, but again, doesn't take damage. But you're kind of stuck there for the moment, just sort of like wedged in there, as some broken shards of wood poking into you. Your armor protects you, but you're kind of stuck for the moment. Lucas and Trevor, you just kind of see Amethyst jump back out of the stairwell as you hear the crash of wood.
I did say that you were quite heavy, Sora, and that it might not be a good
Fuck
idea.
off. Sorry. I like the Green Lantern shirt, by the way, Jim.
Bye,
I
Elton. I'm
was
really
ready.
So
I was ready.
okay. So how do you get out of there?
Carefully, because that's what I do. Eldon, are you still in the way? Or have you gone
He's
up?
No, I'm at the top of
the-
the. I'm at
he's
the top of the stairs. I
looking
know. I
down
know
at
how
you.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know how
so-
to float down whenever I get
Okay.
onto it.
I'm assuming it's an acrobatics or a strength check to hoist myself up higher.
Call it athletics. You're kind of climbing your way and pushing your way out of here. It's an athletics checks to get yourself out of this. Are you trying to go back down, or are you trying to go the rest of the way up?
The rest of the way up.
Okay, so you manage to, like, with enough in there, find purchase there, shoving your feet out there, pushing the broken slats of wood out of the way. As you pull yourself up there, Eldon, you kind of get out of the way as Sora pulls up onto the second floor. Amethyst, you're sort of looking up there, seeing them. You could try to either acrobatics to get there, past the broken step there and get past, if you want, or you can stay down below, whichever you want
I'd
to do.
like to help Sora out of this hole.
With a 20, she has no problem there getting up there. So
Yeah.
so yeah, you go to move up there and help there, but the stairs are all kind of creaking as you get closer to her. So you get to realize you kind of, and she seems to have it. So she's managed to push her way up there, and get up onto the second floor. As Eldon, you make way for her to get up there as well. On the second floor, it looks like somewhat similar to below. It's sort of another open space for the most part there, but you do see a desk that's somewhat intact. a dresser or a cabinet of some kind, maybe a display cabinet or a liquor cabinet or something like that. You can see again another wall here. What looks like a couch, a chair, a little end table there. The furniture is all somewhat intact here, but it's like the cushions have long since rotted away on the couch and the chair. It definitely shows signs of weathering and wear.
How does
Uh,
the floor look? Like, is the floor all like us
it's
stepping a foot on this floor? Is it we're about to go through the
it
floor?
creaks a bit, but it's not like it's like there's no gaps, there's no open holes that you can see. Kind of testing it out. It's somewhat sturdy. It creaks a bit, but it's not like it's falling through, as far as you can tell. At least initially, just sort
Um,
of like a cursory glance. You don't see any spots where like the floorboards have warped up and separated. You don't see any gaps in the floorboards or anything else like that.
Miss Sora, one important thing to keep in mind when you were talking about structures is if you uh, step on where the nails are, those are generally nailed to supports, which are reinforced. I'm about to like go through like a 20-minute speech about like where you should step on floors and like how floors are built. Uh, um,
And I will point down and go like, "Is this a nail? Is that a nail?"
Yes, yes. That no, that is not a nail, not that one. The one before that one was a nail. Yes, and
Awesome.
make sure that you step in patterns. And generally speaking, people construct things to be one direction. Generally speaking, is and then they do a cross support.
So as this structural integrity lesson is based on upstairs, what are the ones you downstairs doing?
So be careful, is what I'm saying.
I'm being very careful and just shaking my head at Eldon hearing the conversation the entire
Sure. I mean, yeah. So you can definitely. I mean, obviously he's not being
time.
quiet or anything else, and
Yeah,
so,
not at all.
um, so Lucas, what you got,
I'll,
anything?
yeah, I'll get the sitting out and I'll cast fly on myself and just fly
There
up
you
there.
go. Okay. So yeah, Lucas, you just kind of like flip on up there and just essentially you can fly on like hovering across the ground. So it's basically the music spins up there and you just lift off the ground and fly up to the second floor there, hovering around. As Eldon's still kind of not even noticing that you went by him. He's still just kind of talking to Sora. Sora, you see Lucas flying into the room there, and you can again describe. You can see the desk, the display cabinet, or the what maybe liquor cabinet or something like that, and other furniture that's up there. So now that you're up there, what do you want to do up top? You want to dig through things, or you want
Yeah, have a look around.
to? Okay.
Mhm.
So cabinet or desk? The only things that's like of interest at the moment there. So the cabinet has sort of glass windows that open. It's kind of like a liquor cabinet would be. Where you open up there, and actually there would be like maybe a clay something or other, maybe a bottle that are on the shelves in there. It's still mostly intact from the look of it there.
Probably the desk.
Okay. You go into the desk there, and it's not hard. Like the desk is a bit warped. You have to kind of play with the drawers to get it to open at all. The desktop is just worn and weathered. There's not much of a varnish or anything left on the top surface there, and there's nothing on it at the moment there. But you finally get one of the drawers open there. You find like a small what looks like an old like maybe a lantern or a desk light that you would put up there and then light. Um, it's not Manatech or anything else. There's no Manatech here at all, anything like that. It's just a little like brass like desk lamp kind of thing like that. You find some what obviously would be ink vials that have dried up. Um, some old quills that sort of kind of disintegrate as as you touch them. Um, it's kind of in the lower drawer. In the upper drawer, you will find a a ledger or journal, a leather bound one, that's somewhat intact. It's kind of a bit moldy, kind of musty to it. Um, but you carefully take it out there and open it there, and you can definitely see some writing inside. what looks to be like a ledger almost, or some sort of an almost like accounting type stuff there. A lot of numbers, a lot of dates, and you quickly pick up the dates are over a century old, and they stop at a certain point there. Like essentially, like maybe 120 years old to 110 and stop. There's definitely more room in the book for more entries, but there's various things like shipments, and you sort of pick out the dates there, you pick out the information there. There's like the it's almost like a shorthand, but you pick it up there. You'll be able to tell that it's definitely shipments, supplies, requests, things like that. Um, Nothing of crazy interest as far as you could tell for the most part, other than the fact that it's definitely old and shows there was signs of life here at one time. Give me an investigation check. Evans and Trevor still downstairs.
Yep.
I'm finishing up my speech around this time.
Sure. Excellent. You will find an actual the classic false back kind of thing in the drawer there, as you realize that the little slat in the back there is actually removable. You pull the drawer a little bit farther out there, give it a wiggle there, and kind of lift up that little thing there, and you find inside there two gems, two gemstones. One a decent size emerald, probably worth about 100 gold, and a somewhat smaller but well cut diamond, probably about also 100 gold. Just kind of sitting loose back there.
I imagine we would definitely pick that up.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
But can I? They're just sitting there though.
Well, no, this is in the desk, in the falls back of the drawer of the desk.
Oh, got it. Okay,
that Lucas was digging in.
Gotcha.
I mean, like I said, down on the base floor, there is some broken furniture, tables and such. There's various places. You're able to move around through there, and it's quiet. You can see like what may have been the supports of a candelabra or some kind, where sort of like a chandelier kind of thing. Two of them in the room. You see the hooks for them, but there's no light there anymore. You finish up your thing there. Again, you see Lucas at that point. Sora, you kind of like the whole time he's talking, you can kind of see Lucas digging through the desk, finding things, looking things over. He by the time when Eldon's finally wrapping it up there, Lucas pulls out. You can see two gemstones.
Great job, buddy.
Checking out the display cabinet, liquor cabinet there, as I said, a clay jug of some kind. Whatever cork has rotted away and it's empty. There's a little bit of residue inside, but that's about it. And a bottle, like a crystal decanter type thing. It's intact. Whatever seal on it is gone, and so there's sort of a reddish residue inside of that one. Other than that, nothing else in there that you can see.
Looking for any secret doors, any hidden anything.
Is her blade? Is Amethyst's blade doing like? Would she? Is it fine?
It's quiet at the moment here. Nothing's causing any sort of alert at the moment there. There's Amethyst. There is a faint tingle for a moment, and you kind of get the impression of like, oh, it's sort of like that might be something, and you get almost an image forming in your mind of a wolf or something, but then it sort of just goes, oh, never mind. Like there was something out there, but it sort of fades away. In the lower part of the cabinet there, Eldon, you will find a statue, like a bust, like of a person. And it looks like a man. Hard to tell. Human by the shape of the ears, at least. but clean shaven, sort of close shop hair, fairly intact. It's not a high quality, but it's recognizable for the most part. Kind of like one of those old, like a bust of Caesar kind of thing, but made out of some sort of brown stone, probably clay, sculpted clay. Intact. Um, no label or anything else on it that you can see. But it's about maybe 8 inches tall.
I don't recognize who it is at all.
No, a history check, it would be DC like 40, because
Oh crap!
it's not a historical figure. It's
I
not somebody
can't get
important.
there
You'd be like,
yet.
it would be one of them like you happen to find a book with a picture at some point in the past there and remembered this guy from something as
Yeah.
mayor of a town that has been gone for over a century.
Yeah.
Maybe.
No. All right. I'll just go ahead and pocket it. Maybe it's
Sure.
worth something somewhere.
All right. Anything else you want to look for or check into or look around for in this place?
No, that'd be about it for this building. Maybe try another
right.
building.
As you
I
leave.
want to keep looking.
Okay. Was that? What do you want?
I wanted to keep looking.
Okay. Give me a perception. Give me an investigation check. For something. See if you spot anything else on the way out. Okay. What I will say is that even with that, not a great roll, but enough that you can tell the furniture in this room was definitely broken in a struggle. It was not worn and fell apart. It was smashed and broken. And you can see in the wood, even though it's worn away, there are signs of like drag marks, like really something's been gouged across the floor. There is the signs, ain't like old signs of combat happen in this room. And though things are kind of pushed out of the way and kind of there was fighting that happened here. And that would be mirrored in other places as well. Trevor, you also give me an investigation check while she's looking around you while you're down there as well.
Sorry, my kid was getting ready to throw a switch down there and try to catch it. I almost beat him. You said which one?
Investigation.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Oh, it's probably going to make it do it twice. Yep. First one.
Of course.
I know what happened now. Yep. Now, oh no, I'm going to re-roll that. Okay.
You did re-roll it. See?
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll take it. Yep.
Same thing. So in talking about Amethyst there, you kind of both come to the impression that yes, fighting happened here. You can see there's definitely signs of a struggle. Again, there's what looked to be like some sort of weapons scratched across things, or the furniture was definitely broken and such. You also will find that the windows in windows in here show signs of being broken. There'll be little fragments of glass in the windows, in the window panes essentially. And one last thing, as you kind of as there's not much more to find in here, you will spot on the way out. You didn't notice on the way in there, but all your lights on now and having kind of that heightened awareness and everything else there, at least one of you will spot scratched into the wood that RO space IN oak OAK.
Roanoke.
As if it was scratched into the wood there.
Is that what it says?
That's exactly what it's exactly what it says. Just like this.
Oh, we lost both of them.
Oh no. Wow. The household went away. Oh wow, I think Bernie froze.
Bernie's waiting on Bernie to come back. There we go. Oh nope, and we're still missing.
We're missing
Rob.
Oh, Trevor.
No, Rob's there. That's Trevor.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, we're all back down. Okay, good. Okay. Just like this, you will see kind of scratched into the wood.
So I believe that we can continue on to the Roanoke and maybe put this city to rest finally, as it does appear that they were all killed and or at least violent. Banshees, as Lucas said, are signs of uh, trauma um, and bad endings. So, yes, maybe we continue.
Maybe, someone
So,
other than go ahead. Go ahead.
are we assuming we're going in the right direction then?
Well, essentially, you're kind of confirming at this point sort of the story you heard a while ago from the shopkeep there in Ravenscrest there, Weldon. He mentioned that this town of Mountain View had been attacked by what they assume were something from Roanoke, Rolling Oak. Um, that's what had been his theory. So you're kind of confirming his theory at this point that this little town right here, this little red little dot on the map, likely where you're at right now, showing, and this actually confirms too that somebody had found this as well. This the scratched into the landing of this building, um, and you've retraced those steps and seen that as well. I need somebody other than Trevor this time. Roll me, or actually somebody else roll me a d20 other than Sora. Just roll it. Just a straight d20. Hold on, 12. Okay, all right. So you are able to move back to the campsite there, have yourself a long rest, get all your spells back and everything else. The night is quiet. You don't see anything there. Amethyst, you feel another tingle from the dagger. Sometime a little later in the night there, as there's a screech of something, and you look up, and it's a fairly quiet night, and you see it over the trees further inland there. You see a large winged creature flying out away from you over the trees.
Oh,
Large. I mean, looking at the size of the tree, it's big. It's at least based on what you can tell of the trees that it's flying over there. It's got to be at least 20-foot wingspan, and it
so
flies out and away from you.
are we talking giant bird or dragon or something?
Hard to say exactly, based on what you see there. It definitely isn't a well. It's hard to say from the distance there that you're seeing it at. And it is dark outside, so some large winged creature. It doesn't really move like a bird. You've seen a lot of birds. It doesn't move like a bird, at least the way it's flying off there. And give me a perception check just to see if you spot any detail. Yes. There is a long tail coming off the back of it as it's flying. So it's almost like a sinuous looking like movement there. And there is a long tail with um uh that comes off the back of the creature. So definitely not a bird. Never seen a bird with a long, like snaky like tail. You were
Ooh, a bird.
told a wyvern's on the way here, and it kind of confirms the description they're talking about.
Right.
That there are some out in the wild. Wyvern, whatever you want to call it.
Yay.
Regional differences. In the various people that have knowledge, skills, and knowledge nature, and all that, wyverns tend to be in this region poisonous.
So don't eat them.
That's, actually, they breathe poison. Different from the poison stingers.
Assuming in your world, I was going to say, I was about to ask if, like, in your world, I know my character wouldn't know either way because my character, I'm sure, has never seen, like, yeah. But
you probably have. They're not completely uncommon. They've been
right.
seen.
But I wouldn't know what kind of, I was about to ask, are they like, do they shoot out of their stinger? Are they like poison out of their stinger? Like to bite or they breathe it?
according to the stories you've heard, they're breathing out a poisonous gas.
Very cool. By the way, I only used one. Apparently, I didn't read Perry all the way through. I just know it stabilizes you if you die, but apparently you double the hit point. So I would have only used one hit die for that short rest, just FYI.
Oh, cool. Yes.
I didn't notice that until I read it. Just so you know.
Yep. So you get it back in your long rest, and it's fine.
Yeah. Anyway.
So the morning comes. You're able to gather everyone together, get out onto the ship in the cold air. You are able to fly inland, and they basically kind of put the bay at their backs, orient themselves, and fly sort of directly west, based on the information that you all have.
This morning, Jim, I will give everyone an inspiring speech.
Yay! 10 HP.
11.
12.
11.
12.
12.
Sorry, 12 now. Wow.
We're counting up. Let's make it
Yep,
13.
And is it up to a certain number of people, or is it anyone within range?
It's I think it's 6.
Okay. So you have the 6 of you then. Five of you, and you want any other person in particular?
The captain.
Good call. Good choice.
Go pee. I know we're getting ready to end pretty soon, probably, but I'm going to go pee real quick. I'll be right back.
All right, no worries.
As an FYI, I did not bring Catherine with me. She is still back at the Port Oars.
Okay, that's fine. Oh, that's gonna be interesting then. Okay.
Yeah. She can just stay at the end and do things. Hopefully not get into trouble.
Okay. All right. Well,
I
figure out
I
how to
left
get her
her.
back home again.
Well, she'll be fine.
Sure. I mean, she's in a city. She knows people.
Yeah, I did leave her 200 gold, so it's not like she's by herself
Okay.
without money.
Sure. And yeah, the main thing is that you were her way home. So and you're
Yeah, and
flying.
she's not here. That's what's important. I don't
Right,
want her
true.
here.
Gotcha. All right. So we'll have to figure out how to get her back home at some point.
I'm sure she can meet up with a caravan or something.
Sure. You have a sending stone you can send to her to say, hey, figure out a way home.
Yeah, she's smarty pants.
I assume you would have told her something before you left, so she wasn't just like, hey, we're leaving, bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, so well she's working out some kind of something there. Fine. I mean, your brother's there.
It's true. She could be talking to my brother. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So anyway, you're able to take off into the air again. Again, the bay at your backs, basically flying directly west. You find making pretty good time. The wind is blowing in a sort of a westerly direction in this case. You're able to pick up a little extra speed. Flying out there. At some point, actually, why don't you all give me perception checks? Not so much that you're not going to see something, but who sees it first?
Well, we know it's not going to be Sora because her perception checks lately have been crap. Until then, I roll that. Well, she's a cat.
Yep, makes sense. Let me do this
Everybody wants to be a cat.
too. Okay, actually, no, I will put it back here. 1 sec.
Amethyst, while I was in town, I picked this up and I show you a hairbrush and I start brushing your chin.
My chin?
Your chin, yeah.
Why my chin?
Because I thought I saw scraps of food in there.
No.
The
I'm
one
saving
place.
that for later.
Oh, my bad. Do you want something else? That I'll give you like jerky or something.
No, but you know, Feel free to brush my back with that.
Oh, you want? Okay, turn around.
I'm really itchy now.
I know. It's going to be easy too. I will say that you catch what catches your attention first, Amethyst, is you spot a sort of a break in trees, and there's obviously the dead trees and such of or lifeless trees as it is winter time here. The trees that have lost their leaves and these like speckled there. There's lots of evergreens as well that are slightly snow covered. But what catches your eye the most was sort of a large open space directly ahead. And then you start spotting some buildings. And so from a few hundred feet up, like you're not close to the ground at this point. You're probably about 500 or 1,000 feet up or so, just sort of like catching these things up at a high altitude. You see, and you can zoom out to about 40, about 30 or 40 somewhere. If you want to zoom way out on this one, you see a large pond, small lake, whatever you want to call it there. Here, a lot of downed, dead-looking trees. There are a number of pine trees and such there, but and some trees still standing, but there's a lot of dead trees, like kind of scattered around. Looking, I mean, they're covered in snow, but even from way up here, they look twisted and strange, gnarled and maybe even diseased. Without getting close, you can't really see that there. But there's a large frozen pond just north of a small town. Snow-covered roofs, somewhat intact. No smoke from the chimneys. A few ruined sections there. A couple of wells dotted around the town there. And just barely you can make out small figures moving. Like I said, about 1,000 feet up there. They look really small. Just little figures kind of moving around in the cleared area between the buildings. Hard to get an exact count. Maybe 5, 10.
What color are they?
Somewhat bundled up and stuff there, but I mean, looking closely, they've got to be trollings.
I figured. That's what I was asking. Like, are they green? Just tell us. It's fine.
I mean, like I said, they're not like running around naked, so it's hard to see what skin color they are from 1,000 feet up. But I mean, looking carefully there, watching them move around there. Yeah, they've got to be trollings. This is definitely the place. And you are flying high over the ruined town of Roanoke.
Awesome.
Finally. And now it's about to end.
And that's where we're going to hold things on. Now that you can see what's here, you can start kind of making your plans. Essentially, the ship kind of goes on a wide circle. And kind of staying up high, at least sort of giving a wide berth around the town there. So they don't fly directly over it, but you can kind of see where things are and start getting an idea of what's there. So you can decide amongst yourselves where you want to put down and where you want one of the two skirmish teams to be put down. And when we start off next time, you'll be ready for the Battle of Roanoke.
After I've had my tail brushed.
Yes.
Where are we currently at?
Like I said, you're 1,000 feet up there doing a wide circle around.
Oh, we're in the airship. Okay.
You're in the airship.
Okay.
It was just flying in this direction until you spotted something. And so, Amethyst, you were the first one to spot it. And shortly after you spotted it and started pointing out to the group there, what is that? Oh, that you're familiar?
Okay, so...
Yeah, I was just testing him out.
Oh, yeah.
This is my idea, but it may not work. I think we should land next to the frozen lake.
Guys, I can summon a slide.
Or
What?
if we come in from the lakeside, we can have them come in from like the backside over here.
Yeah. All right, y'all. I gotta go take this
Okay.
kid and put him
No
to bed.
worries there.
I'll talk
Again,
to y'all later.
well, you have a week to kind of plan, get an ideas and plan it out there. We'll start off next time, finish planning sessions, and then move on. What is that?
It's summer
Alright.
abjuration.
All right. Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Good night.
Done with this?
Tell me.
Good night, man. Take care.
Summon abjuration.